Hey guys, welcome to episode 227 of 4Play Animecast. It is the end of July, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over at the East Coast of the United States. I am your host, Spire. And with me are my compatriots, Toast,
Hello.
Dark,
Hi.
and Near.
It's
All right, so let's get right into it. 2 weeks briefly, starting with Near.
Near, did you watch it?
What?
Did you watch it? It just came out.
What Shin Kamen Rider? I haven't
No, I
watched.
know. I've never heard of Shin Kamen Rider. Near, it's Shin Masked Rider. Did you not see the title on Amazon Prime?
Did they really call it that?
Yeah.
That rocks.
Should have
that
called it
rocks so
New
much.
Masked Rider.
Yeah.
It's
Nah.
weird because it's what you got Amazon Riders, then you've got Kamen Rider Black Sun, and now you have Shin Masked Rider.
Yeah, really on point with the branding. In the West for sure. But yeah, I haven't watched it yet.
You should watch it.
I should. But yeah, my 2 weeks. I mean, I've been pretty much the same old shit. Shadowverse, grinding that out.
Shadowverse.
Yeah. It helps that the deck I'm playing is top tier. I think, but you know how it is.
What deck, Near?
I've been playing a lot of Ghost, Shadow, and Evo Portal.
That's
For
isn't that your
pretty strong
standard?
decks. What?
You usually play what is it? Shadowcraft and
Yeah, I'm a
Wolfpack,
Shadow
right?
main for sure. I usually do like
I'm a Dragon Sword main.
yeah, I try to like main Shadow whenever possible. Whenever it's like actually viable. And right now, like Ghost Shadowcraft is just like really dominant. And then I usually have like Portal or Blood. It's like secondaries. Sometimes I do Dragon, but yeah, I've just been grinding that out. Sort of kind of weaving off of Final Fantasy right now. Yeah, we got our re-clears for top, and we're like as a group we're kind of just like this fight sucks. We're done. So we've been done with that for a bit. Yeah, other than that, not too much. Just keeping up with Fate Grand Order. I rolled Oberon, which was pretty cool.
I was wondering what handsome man you were rolling for Near.
Yeah. I got Oberon. I think it took me like 3 or 4 10 rolls. So, pretty lucky. My luck in Geo has been very good recently, which is concerning. But hopefully that continues into summer event. I kind of want to get summer comma. Yeah, and that not too much. Yeah, not too much. Just kind of keeping up with stuff. I want to. I like.
Yep.
I've been keeping my eye on the El Sakuga.
The Saku blogs.
Yeah. And I've really been wanting to like catch back up with Mushoku Tensei.
Yeah, okay.
Just because like the cuts I've seen from that have been pretty nuts.
Yeah.
I've also been seeing people like
Who was the Mushoku Tensei again? Was it Production IG? Who was it? White Fox? It's not White Fox,
like
right?
It's like a like side studio, but I forget what the umbrella was.
Don't you mean
under.
Crunchyroll Studios?
Crunchyroll Studios.
Joint venture between White Fox.
Okay,
and
it is White
Firm.
Fox.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I remember that studio.
Studio
somewhere.
Bind.
Yes. Okay. But yeah, I'm glad I remembered it was White Fox because White Fox at least has the chops by now because they've been pumping out these.
I mean, they got the money, right?
Yeah, this time they got the money too because
Yeah.
it was Mushoku Tensei. Right, exactly.
But I've also been seeing a lot of people cream a bit over Zom 100. I haven't checked it out yet, but
Yes, yes.
It's
apparently
alright.
apparently it's got some really nice cuts.
Did you watch? Are you watching the live action near?
Is there a live action?
Yeah, there's a live
It's
action
got
one.
it's got what's his name? Dark. What's that guy's name? Banjo, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that was,
Yeah.
wasn't it Banjo
Got,
Ryuga, right?
Yeah, it's got Banjo Ryuga as the main character. Near, don't you remember Build?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's him. Like,
cool.
man,
Yeah,
what's
no,
with all these
I haven't checked it out
crossovers?
yet. But yeah,
How
there's
come every Japanese person
been a lot
I've
of stuff
seen
with some nice animation this season that I want to
appears
check
somewhere
out.
else?
Okay, pretty good. What about you, Dark? 2 weeks, please.
I have not been watching a ton. But yeah, I've just been kind of playing I've been fucking around a little bit in Street Fighter 5 just doing like pressing buttons.
Mm-hmm.
And
6, I think. Yeah.
yeah, I'm just getting used to the hitbox still at this point, but
the
the
buttons, all the buttons.
yeah. It's I mean it's certainly something. What was I gonna say? But yeah, I mean other than that I've been playing WoW. Made the mistake of reinstalling Fallout 4, so now I'm just I've been playing WoW and setting up my mods at the same time.
Yeah,
Oh my
setting
God.
up the mods and not playing Fallout 4.
No, I'm gonna play it. I'm definitely gonna play
Surely,
it.
surely,
I'm
for
for
sure this time.
sure definitely gonna be playing that. Yeah, I've also been, I've been dabbling in Guild Wars 2. So yeah, I've just been playing a lot of MMOs.
Okay, pretty good.
Yeah, and just kind of
Toast. Oh, yeah.
keeping up with Kamen Rider, you know.
Yeah. No,
Keeping
I've
up with
seen you
Kamen Rider,
post a lot of
keeping up
Kamen
with
Rider
Kamen Rider and keeping
stuff.
up with Ultraman. Ultraman is kind of going fucking nutty right now. Like they're doing everything that like any company should be doing. Well, I mean, they're able to do something that no one else can do, which is simul release, like simul air Ultraman on fucking YouTube with like 8 million different subtracks for every language, an English dub
Jesus.
that's apparently godlike this season. And this is all simul airing on YouTube for free.
Nice.
Oh,
They have
And
so
that's
much.
been
They
crazy.
must.
On top of this season's budget is through the fucking roof. This show has
Yeah,
some
they
of the
must have
most
had a shit ton
intricate
of money.
miniatures I've ever seen, and like the most intricate suits they've ever had.
Nice.
And then they blow them up and rip them apart every episode. So
Of course. That's how you do it.
speaking of Dark, are you keeping up with G Series or whatever it's called?
no, I've not been. What is that?
Don't you know it's Decade's side tokusatsu thing? He'll never get away from tokusatsu.
No, I've not seen that.
It, every time I see it, it comes out with English subs, so they know what they're doing.
Okay. But yeah. Yeah, that's
Alright.
that's pretty much been my 2 weeks.
Pretty good. Toast.
I don't remember anything in 2 weeks. All I remember is that Ayane Sakura is somehow in King Oger now, so she's hit the big leagues.
She's not the first one who really kind of did the revolving door in reverse, right? Because I know that there were at least a couple, including Mao. Mao is sort of the more infamous one who went from stuff like Sentai or Kamen
Oh yeah,
Rider
name her
back into
Sentai.
it was like the Yellow
Yeah,
Ranger
name her
one, right?
Sentai.
I don't know.
Doesn't
I
even
don't
know.
remember the name for these things.
Doesn't even
But
know Gokaiger. That's like the most popular one of all the what is it, the anniversary ones? Yeah.
yeah. But I know that Uesaka Sumire, right, was the first one that really, or what was the first really popular voice actress to make the revolving door back from anime voice acting back to doing something in sort of a more Sentai-ish role. And now Ayane Sakura is kind of following that path as well, right? So maybe we'll see that revolving door opening up a little bit more.
Oh yeah,
Anyway,
name
sorry to
the
interrupt.
other. Oh yeah, well name Aya Hirano's role in Super Sentai.
Bro, I don't remember anything that Hiranaya did. I'm sorry. Like I'm so bad at like certain voice actresses. I know I should be like knowing more of the roles, but I don't. Which kind of sucks.
Was she not the talking? She was in Shinkenger, was she not?
I
Whatever.
don't know exactly.
Why? What is with this? What is with this crossover with VAs and
And
live actions? What's up with this?
I mean,
Is
I
the talent pool smaller than I believe, or is it because
no, it's not. It has nothing to
once you
do
get?
with the live action. It's a
Is it
very simple
because?
answer. It's because it's the same reason why.
Big name.
Uh,
Big name brings
no,
publicity, right? Like,
well, yes, that's
Oh yeah.
part of it. But the complete picture is that it's the part of why Nakamura Yuichi created that one social media ruckus, right? Because people were like, hey, all these idols, and people were wondering why Nakamura Yuichi wasn't, going out and doing the singing and dancing kind of thing, right? And Nakamura Yuichi's like, sorry, I'm a voice actor, right? And it's this idolization, or I guess more succinct way to do it, idolification, right, of voice actresses and voice actors, Seiyu, right, in Japan, where they are no longer really defined by the roles that they have played. They are more defined by their own name and brand image in real life. And the jobs kind of come along with it. And that is especially true with pretty young female voice actresses, right? Minori Nase, Hanazawa Kana, Uesaka Sumire, Sakura Ayane, and what is it? Why am I forgetting? Like the most Tenchan, right? Why?
Oh yeah.
What?
You forgot. So, no, keep going. Keep going.
Um, the Sora, right? Amamiya Sora, excuse me. Why did I forget her name? Yeah. So all these like pretty young female voice actresses are getting these sorts of idol status. And with that, again, comes roles that are not necessarily restricted to just voice acting, but it's, appearing in magazines, doing fashion lines, appearing in live action, movies, stuff like that. So it's that sort of culture that has been bred the recently. I say recently, but it's I want to say the last 10, 15, 20 years, right? And that has led into these opportunities for these people. So
Oh, you're saying this is the Odagiri effect, right?
um I
yes.
the
The
reverse
Odagiri
Odagiri,
effect
yes.
is
The reverse Odagiri effect, yes.
you know what that is, huh? All right.
Yes, yes.
Oh yeah. Well then explain why Kamen Rider 15 was Itsuji Ao or
I
Itsuji
have
Itao.
no
I'm
idea.
sorry. It's
I
like
have no idea.
why is that old man there? He's cool, but like whatever. But yeah, this was all just to say that Ayane Sakura is in Oger now for some reason. Also, Fire said you watch Gokaiger. Name the talking parrot's voice actor.
I
It's
did
very
not say
prevalent.
that. That is
Wow.
not at all what
This
I
guy,
said.
this guy doesn't even know Yukari Tamura was in Gokaiger as a talking parrot.
Yeah. As a talking,
And
I'm
also
really bad
here,
with these. Sorry.
yeah, okay, whatever. I don't know. I'm just saying that the talent pool is apparently smaller than I thought. Maybe it's because I'm expanding my Kamen Rider horizon.
Hmm.
Yeah, apparently, if that's your breakout role, bam, you're gonna be put in other Japanese dramas, and you know what? I'm okay with that.
All right.
What else? Was that 2 weeks? I don't know. I don't know what
Yeah.
else happened 2 weeks. Uh, I don't know.
All right. I guess if that's it,
Oh,
then
Pikmin 4 is that out yet?
Yeah.
yes.
Is it pretty good?
Oh.
It's apparently a Pikmin game.
I heard it's a baby game. I heard it.
I mean, I do like how it looks. Looks pretty
I
cool.
heard it. will not stop bombarding you with tutorials, like,
That's
ever.
fine. I do like how the look has been more refined. It's also apparently it's in someone's house, so
There's also a rewind feature, so, you know,
I mean,
there's no consequences to any of your actions, which is
to be
cool.
fair, most people, if you just rewind one day, right, and you save at the end of the day, so it's not really that different from just reloading if you mess up.
I mean, I guess, but it's a bit different from like
Oh shit, that's pretty good.
you have to replay the whole day, you know what I mean? It's like there is a consequence to, you know, fucking up and wanting to like have that perfect run. But now it's just like, oh, I made a mistake. I can just rewind like 10 seconds. Like
Ah,
it, yeah.
okay.
And
Save state.
Nintendo hates
It's just save
emulators so
state,
much
another
that they're
word.
making all of their games emulated games.
Yeah, pretty much. Like
I don't know. Ice Pikmin seem legit. I like those Ice Pikmin.
Anyways, I
I
guess
don't
thank
know.
you, Toast, for 2 weeks then. And
I didn't say anything, but okay.
well, do you have anything
Oh,
else
oh,
for the
I
2 weeks?
mean, you
best
seem
friend
to have
Magni.
covered a lot. What do you? First of all, what do you mean you
Yeah.
didn't say anything? Whether you
I
said your
mean,
2 weeks or not is different, but
best
you
friend
definitely
Magni are
said a
still
lot.
missing. That's all I got.
Okay. Anything else?
They're still missing.
Okay. Anyways, I guess I didn't do too much. I was running around a lot, signing forms these past 2 weeks outside of anime/game stuff. Uh,
Why aren't you playing that funny Muppet game? Fire.
what's the funny Muppet game?
Don't you know
What,
it's made by the Dusk Brothers. My Friendly Neighborhood.
uh
Apparently that's pretty good.
is that a thing?
Yeah.
what the heck is
It's
this?
apparently it's a survival horror Muppet game.
Oh,
Oh
I'm probably
yeah,
just
yeah,
gonna
yeah. I
watch
saw that.
streamers
That
play
does
it.
look pretty funny. Yeah, it's a streamer game, but
Yeah, I'm just gonna
it's
watch
pretty
streamers
funny.
play this because that's the best way to kind of take in these sorts of things.
Oh yes.
But
Oh yeah. You're gonna watch streamers Spire? Name one famous streamer that appears in streamer, YouTuber. I guess it's name one famous YouTuber that appears in the puppet game.
Ludwig.
Spoiler: he's also a puppet.
I have no idea.
Markiplier.
It- no, I'm talking about Arlo. He's the voice of the sock guy in that game.
I have no idea.
These guys don't know YouTubers.
Correct.
Anyways, I've been out and about kind of signing forms mostly, but other than that, I've actually been going back to DJ Maxx for some reason, mainly because the season is ending and I want to. I was just grinding out some stuff. So I've been doing a lot of very boring DJ Maxx grinding, playing some Street Fighter 6, watching some series, mainly because, again, this
Oh right,
season we
all right.
have
I remember now. I remember one thing.
what?
Have you been watching Skibbity Toilet?
Dude.
What?
Fuck.
I don't.
I
I
have
have
no
no
idea.
idea what that is.
I have no idea what the fuck that
It's
is.
literally just Zoomer fucking
It's
Gmod
just
shit.
Zoomer,
Like,
yeah. It's just
Zoomers
Zoomer like
don't play
Gmod
Gmod
idiot
though.
box.
That's
They
weird.
do now.
well,
They've discovered it.
technically it's not Zoomer shit anymore. It's Gen Alpha, but you know, yeah.
No, I have not seen it. But I haven't been doing too much other than those two. Just watching some series, and I've been actually inspired to go back and read some other like Tsukimichi stuff. For instance, haven't been really updated in Alphapolis, but some other stuff like the Skeleton Knight and some other isekai stuff. I've been inspired to go back and read on Shosetsu ni Naro, which is actually a really bad idea and a really degenerate thing to do.
What's the
But
new hot take on Shosetsu nowadays?
I don't think there's okay. I'm just gonna be very clear here. Anybody who I don't think there's really any person out there with more than half a brain cell who thinks that Shousetsu ni Naru in its current condition, although I say current condition, it is essentially the Japanese version of fanfiction.net, as I've said countless times. And B, the state of the Japanese anime light novel publishing industry slash machine that scrapes off the most bookmarked fan fictions on this stupid fucking site. I don't think anybody with a sane, rational mind with more than a couple of brain cells would say that this is healthy or good or anything for the anime industry beyond satisfying the carnal desires of the people who are into this sort of stuff to begin with, degenerates such as myself and Toast, right?
What?
Obviously, there
What about
are
me?
occasional times where you'll get some interesting themes. Obviously, if you throw enough shit at the wall, something will stick. If you have enough monkeys typing, you know, typewriters, something will be made. But for the most part, 99.99999% of Shosetsu ni Naru is extremely, extremely, extremely degenerate. That's why I always say, right, stuff like Rising of the Shield Hero, stuff like Redo of Healer, stuff like Interspecies Reviewers was actually manga, right? If I remember correctly, it was like a smut manga. Um,
Probably.
uh, yeah. So Rising of the Shield Hero, Arifureta, Redo of Healer, Harem in the Labyrinth of Another World, all this other crap. Keep saying that even that stuff is still
It's
the
peak
very
cinema.
peak Kino, by the way, to borrow the phrase from the Zoomers.
Oh
But
yeah.
yes, even that I keep saying is yet the tip of the iceberg. Sagar Chan says, in chat, please tell me y'all did an episode on interspecies reviewers. We did indeed. And we did not have the most favorable review, like anybody sane would, right? So, just- yeah. So it is the tip of the iceberg. Even stuff like Harem in the Labyrinth of Another World, even stuff like Redo of Healer is yet the tip of the iceberg. Again, there for every something like Slime Tensei or Vending Machine Dad or Sword Dad Isekai or anything that comes even close to being a reasonable series, there are hundreds to thousands of series on Shousetsu ni Naru that is the equivalent of, again, the most vapid, not, I don't know what if it's necessarily disturbing, but just stupid and noxious hentai smut stuff that you've seen in your life. Just the equivalent of, oh, I like hypnotize my childhood friend to do sexual acts in another world. Like that's like there's 100,000 of those fanfiction, Naruto web novels compared to what you see in the industry in anime right now. So you know it is what it is. It's for degenerates. Um,
If
that
you
being
love
said,
isekai so much, why aren't you reviewing
that
them?
is
By
not
the
what I
way,
said at
aren't you
all.
reviewing them this season,
That-
Spire? By the way,
what? Oh, what am I? What am I reviewing this season? Yeah. Well, the reason why I'm reviewing this stuff is that I don't like all isekai. But again, I think we covered this in the roundtable. But I do think that isekai is an okay blank box. It's not something to just say, "Oh, this is crappy." Isekai, egg. It's not that black and white like some people would have you believe. I think some people who rightfully have a bias against it, like again, someone like Nier, for example, right? The reason why they have a bias against it is because they would prefer not to roll that sort of dice in watching the 100th harem isekai power fantasy, right? Occasionally he'll scoop up stuff like Mushoku Tensei or whatever, right? But he would prefer not to roll that dice. What I'm saying is that for me, isekai as a concept is much like four girls in a school or four girls in a club as a concept. There's nothing inherently that is super harmful or super valuable in it. It is a blank box for people to deal with. Now, obviously, sometimes it can be a crutch, right? Or most of the times it can be a crutch for writers, much like how four cute girls in a club doing stuff can be a crutch here and there for writers. But that being said, it is a good. I don't want to misuse the word good. It is an efficient construct for writers to kind of put stuff out there, right? So that's sort of how I treat it. Anyways, that is a way too long tangent. Neither here nor there. I was a degenerate. I was reading Shoutouts ni naru while also playing DJ Max and Street Fighter 6 and all this other crap. And that was most of my 2 weeks, followed by some anime stuff. But yeah, anyways, that was my 2 weeks, and I want to get straight into it, starting off with host.
Hello.
What do you have for us?
What was the name of the series I reviewed last time? Kizuna? Was it Kizuna? Ayaka? Kizuna?
Ayaka.
Kizuna? I don't
Ayaka, Story
fucking
of
know.
Bonds and Wounds, or something like that.
So
yeah.
basically, Kizuna, right? I don't.
That is
Go
not
hands.
how that works.
Go hands.
I mean,
go hands,
Kizuna
right?
might
Goddamn
be
go
in
hands.
there.
No.
No, it was one of
Yeah.
the guy
don't
who
even
was in
know.
charge of K or something, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the same person who was the character designer or something for K or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Why'd I bring that? All right. So yeah, that's just that series was about pretty boys, right?
Yes.
Remember when I said that a main character usually only has like two. It's usually two colors, red or blue. There, did I
Yes.
say something like that? I feel like I did. Well, this time, now we have now that there was a blue-haired boy with pretty boys. Now we have a red-haired dude with pretty girls. And that's what this series is called TenPuru, or no, also known as just Temple. Temple, no one can live on loneliness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Who? What's the
Yeah.
studio?
I don't know.
Studio
Uh,
Gecko.
Yeah, Gekko. I think I remember this studio. Ah, yes, my
I
one
don't.
hit kill sister, and yeah, my one hit kill sister. Yes, I remember this.
Nice.
Yes. It was a couple of seasons ago, if I remember correctly.
What did Gecko do? I don't know. Yeah.
I just, I just mentioned it. My one hit kill sister. I
What
forget
else?
who covered it here though. I think you covered it, didn't
Did
you?
I? No.
I think you
Sister
might
or
have, to be honest.
Did I?
Unless no
Oh
one
no,
covered.
I
Maybe
thought
no
of
one
covering.
covered it.
I
And we're
thought
thinking
of
of the
covering.
mom one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
mom
I
one.
think
no.
we covered that
The
one.
one hit kill sister, I was thinking of covering it, but ultimately didn't. Sorry, I apologize. Anyways, Gecko, relatively new to the scene.
Wait,
Did a
wait.
couple
Is
of
the
stuff.
one hit kill sister the one with the red haired ponytail?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
The one with Asuna Ruri? Yeah,
Yes.
I think. Okay, yeah. So yeah,
Anyway.
so you guys like harem? Haram?
No.
Haram?
Uh,
Is it how do you usually say it, Spire?
Harem.
Harem, right. You guys like super standard harem
No.
Yeah.
made by
harem.
that's
Of
basically
course.
has similarities to Love Hina, Yuragi So, and it's a throwback, but Aminideo, or what is it called? Ah, my Buddha.
Wasn't
Is
there also one
super
that's
old
like
one.
Asuna Yoichi? Well, that one was
Oh,
also a
that
thing.
yeah. Whoa, that's a samurai one, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, that's also a throwback. Good job,
Prehistoric
Spire.
age gamer.
Prehistoric. Okay, can I just put out something? I don't know. Sorry, I'm sorry, Toast, for the tangent.
That's fine.
I don't know where these Facebook memes are coming from, but this whole prehistoric gamer thing, the worst one I saw, I forget who was it that posted it, if it was Toast or somebody else,
It
but
was not
somebody
me.
was, yeah, but somebody posted some pic though that's had at the bottom. It was the usual thing that puts X series ancient or Y series prehistoric gamer or was Z series like legend gamers something like that. And the very bottom one, the oldest one, was Arifureta. Arifureta came out like 2 years ago, guys. Come on, man.
I
this
only
thing,
know this
Asuno
one.
Yoichi, the thing I mentioned, came out in 2009. Guys, come on, it's only been like
Fire.
14 years.
Fire. Remember what?
Come on, man.
Remember what I always talk about with anime eras? Everything
Yeah,
pre 2011 is
nothing
clearly.
existed.
I used
It
to be
was just
called. I used to call it retro, but now it's apparently prehistoric.
prehistoric.
Yeah.
Motherfucker. Anyways,
But yeah.
sorry, please go
Where
on.
was I going on? This is written by the artist behind Grand Blue, or
Oh, I can
not
kind of see it.
not
The original character designer, or what are you talking about? Like,
Grand Blue was written by the dude who made Baka Test, right? But it was
was it?
illustrated by this dude. And so this dude, I guess, took this dude,
He's saying
Kimitaka
Grand
Yoshioka.
Blue, by the way, not Grand
Yes.
Blue.
Yeah, no, I know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I mean it
I'm
looks like
sorry,
that. I don't know
the,
why
the
you'd be.
localized is Grand Blue Dreaming, not to be confused with Grand Blue Fantasy.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, so apparently, I guess that guy just took what he learned from making Grand Blue and made his own manga, and it shows because all I remember from Grand Blue is muscle dudes in funny situations, right? I guess.
Yes.
Well, this is the exact opposite. Now it's a hot temple chicks. Oh, I'm sorry, it's called a nunnery, and I don't know what that is in Japan, but they refer to it as a nunnery.
Like a shrine or
Yeah, so they're put in pervy situations with this dude.
It's
Dude,
not. It's not. It's a nunnery. Aren't they just Mikos?
I
Isn't that what
they
they
use
are?
the word they use the word
Who
Amadera.
translated this? Who trans? Wait, what?
They use the word Amadera, and I Google translated. It says
Oh,
nunnery. So I guess, is that correct? I don't know
I.
anything about shrine maidens, but it
It's like a
says
Buddhist, like
it's
it's like a female monk kind of thing. Yeah,
yeah,
I guess.
It's a Buddhist shrine, and
Yeah, it's like
all
the
females
Buddhist
live there. So
equivalent. Yeah.
okay, so well, I guess I'll go with nunnery. But yeah, so I guess I should go into the background. The main character's name is Akagami Akimitsu, and the story is that his dad is a big lover of women. It's like he wants to love all the women in the world. So when he was little, Akagami, I was like, "Oh, my dad's so cool." And then later on, his dad was like, "Okay, son, goodbye. I'm leaving. I'm going to woo all the women in the world." And so he leaves. I guess. Well, I guess he left when he was like 5 years old. But apparently, the Akagami name is infamous around him because he only learned later on that women are scared of him, and so he's got a bad reputation. And so over his over his lifetime, he's like, "Oh, I don't want to be a womanizer and whatnot. I'm gonna study and whatnot not to become like my family's name and
Right. The
whatnot."
protagonist trying to turn away from being a pervy, I
Yeah.
guess,
So
heir,
and
right?
then he runs into the main female lead, Aoba Yuzuki, who
Mm-hmm.
is voiced by
Aimee, right?
Terakawa Aimee. I don't know who that
Yes.
is,
Aimee
but
is she's been or she's I guess she initially came to fruition when she
I see a
voiced one
lot
of
of
the
Bang Dream, so
yeah, it's she
I don't
her
know Bang Dream.
breakout role was Bang Dream stuff, but she did a whole bunch of other roles afterwards too. Yeah.
But yeah, so oh, she was Roxanne in Freezing. Did anyone even
Yes.
watch Freezing? I didn't. Freezing sucks. I don't want to go.
I watched like a tiny bit of it, but it wasn't very
Anyway, I don't even know if Freezing ended. But where was I? Yeah, so she, I guess she was carrying rice home, and
okay.
she was carrying rice home, and she knocks him over. So it was like this fated meeting and whatnot. So he instantly falls in love with her, and that kickstarts his life of debauchery, apparently, because he used to be like a model student and had a part-time job, and like, "Oh, I don't want to go to mixers." But after meeting her and falling in love, he started going to mixers and skipping class and became a womanizer. And he's like, "Oh shit, is this the Akagami blood? Like, Kurt, is this the Akagami curse or whatever?" But apparently it's not. He just hasn't been used to women his entire life. So once he fell in love, went crazy. So
Mhm.
I guess to prevent that, he takes a leave of absence in school and goes to the nunnery.
Okay.
I'm gonna call it the shrine.
Yeah,
He,
shrine.
he
No, no, it's fine. Yeah, whichever.
he decides to become a Buddhist monk and like
Hmm.
try to achieve enlightenment. So he goes to the shrine, and lo and behold, Alba lives there, and some wacky hijinks happens, and this is super standard like intro by the way. It's like, oh, some wacky hijinks happen. It used to be all women, but now there's a man,
Hmm.
and it turns out like,
Yeah, yeah.
oh, his uncle recommended him to this shrine, but he didn't know it was all women right now. So he's gotta convince them to let me stay here, and then he does, and now they're living together. That's literally the most basic, common cookie cutter intro
Hmm.
that of every
Okay.
standard rom com of this type it is. And
Yeah.
you
Okay.
know what?
So
What? I'll continue.
yeah. So that's the basic in synopsis. And not to go too much into the episodes, is this the stuff after this is pretty episodic, right? I haven't read the manga though.
Sure.
Sorry. It is.
Yeah, it's fine.
uh,
It's
are all so is the cast all introduced like in the first couple of one or two episodes and then you go through one by one, or are the
Yeah,
girls?
that's about right. You see everyone in there. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
first
yeah.
thing that happens is when he goes to the shrine, he meets up with her, and
Mhm.
like he thinks, oh, he goes up there. He thinks he's going there for an interview because his uncle recommended to her, but she thought that Aoba, they're all named Aoba. I'll name her Yuzuki because that's her name. Yuzuki thought he was there for like an arranged meeting or arranged marriage thing. So there's that misunderstanding, and then oh no, wacky hijinks happen, and then the super standard. Oh, this misunderstanding happens, and then he runs around the area, and then oh look, there's that girl, and then oh look, he stumbles into that girl and gets into a lucky pervert
Right,
situation on
right.
all of them, and it's like oh ho ho, and then they all get mad at him, but then they
So is
reconcile.
the other than the whole, usually what happens in these series is an episodic, I help one girl or I get to know the other girl better or whatever it is, right? But usually in the middle of that there's a bunch of lucky pervert situations. Again, is this
Yeah,
sort of how it goes in TenPuru, more or less?
yeah, pretty much.
Can you also give a kind of short overview of each of the girls here? It kind of looks like we have two tsundere. We have the purple-haired Imoto type, the lolly Imoto type. We have Onone, sexy One-san type. I don't know whether
Which
that's a
one?
fake
Who are you
disguise for
thinking
the
of?
orange-haired one.
Orange? Sure.
Yeah, the orange hair,
But yeah,
the one with
so
the green headband. And then is the main character just a general, oh, I'm a serious hard worker kind of type, honest hard worker kind of type? Is that how it's divided?
okay, well we'll go down the list because all of
Yeah,
them.
if you
There's
could do.
3 episodes right now, and all of them have, I guess, generally been introduced
Yeah, yeah.
so
You
far.
give a
So we'll
short
start with
overview.
Yuzuki Aoba. She's the main, and you can tell she's the main because the dude, fell in love with her at first sight, and then the first thing
Okay.
he says to her when uh when he meets her again at the shrine is he wants to marry her. So it's like, oh, we've only met twice, and you want to marry me, and it's like, oh, I guess she's the female lead, sure,
Hmm.
but she's
Classic first girl wins. Yes.
yeah, you can you can tell by the way she was carrying like 3 bales of rice. She's pretty dumb and headed, I guess.
Oh, it's like the Ponkots kind
She's
of thing. But then what else? What
I
else is
guess
there?
yeah, that's about it. I don't know.
It's
What?
just Ponkotsu, but like honest, hardworking kind of type.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And
What about the orange-haired one?
that's her. Which one? Let's see.
The one with the green headband.
Wow, you don't wanna go down the family tree. You just wanna go left
I don't know
field,
how
huh?
the family tree
I'm gonna
works
go.
in
Okay,
this
so
series. That's why.
I'm gonna go down the family tree. So that's
Yeah,
Yuzuki.
okay, that's fine.
She's 17. She's the oldest daughter of the Alba family, I guess.
Okay.
And we're gonna go down to Tsukuyo Alba. She's the blonde-haired girl, and
Oh, okay.
she's got a pretty distinct voice because once you hear her, you immediately recognize that Serizawa Yu.
Oh my god. Okay.
And if you don't know who Serizawa Yu is, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. Wait, this
She's
is Serizawa Yu is the one. Yeah, it's the yellow-haired one, right?
yeah,
Without the ponytails. Yeah. Okay.
she's the orange-haired girl in Show Me
Yeah, this is a
sample.
very classic fit for Serizawa Yu character, to be honest.
She's the second one. She's the one who's
Yes.
like, oh, we can't let this man live in our house and
Yeah.
whatnot. She's the
Yeah.
tsundere one and whatnot.
Yeah. Classic typing. Yes.
And then, but she's not stupid either.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, whatever. More social than the other ones. Then you've got a third daughter, Kurage Aoba, who's voiced by Yamashita Nanami. I don't know who this is. She
Oh,
was
I
in
think I've
Jashin-chan, right?
heard of her. Yes, you are
She's Kyon
right.
from Jashin-chan. I remember that much. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know any others though.
Let's see. Yeah, okay. Yeah, she's relatively new. Well,
Sure.
what I'll say. No, wait, no, she was in Wake Up Girls, so she's done a lot of like 2D idol kind of stuff and like High School Fleet and like kind of stuff like that, smaller stuff, and then she kind of came up. She did Miku and Darling in the Frank, huh? Okay, but yeah,
Darling in the Franxx. What the hell is that show? Never heard of it.
yeah, nobody knows. Anyways, go on.
Yeah. So she's a third daughter, and she's the Kudere one, but she's also the main character calls her pure because she's the most blunt in saying how perverted the others are. He's like, oh, what is it? What's her name? Yuzuki's acts like this, but she might be a closet pervert, and she's the one that was like, "Hey, you want to see my sister's changing?" And then she attempts to open the bathroom door, but runs away. So the MC accidentally opens the door and is like, "Oh ho, lucky situation." So she's pretty playful and kude and whatnot. And then we'll go down to who I think is who's the most interesting character is Mia Kristoff. So I'm sorry, Spire. She's not Japanese. She's the twin-tailed one. So she's voiced by Asahina Madoka.
Okay.
I keep seeing smartphone and whenever I look up these VAs names. The hell is this?
Because smartphone had a crap ton of like, because the carom in smartphone was actually pretty huge, right? And
Yeah,
they
it
had a
was.
whole bunch of different roles. It was one of those series where it not one of those. There's a lot of these days, but it was 1 or 2 years ago where there was a sudden spurt of where a bunch of production committees would just go out and try to Mac on really any harem isekai series in terms of just getting them out the door, right? And Smartphone was one of them, right? And Smartphone, because it had at least 6 or 8 girls, right, in the harem that had names. So they just had a whole bunch of girls, or they had a whole bunch of voice actresses acting out those roles. And I think she was one of them. Yeah. So.
But yeah, other than Serizawa Yu, she's also the one with the most obvious voice.
Hmm.
Do you remember Benkyo wa Dekinai? Do you remember the
Yes, I
best
do.
character in that series?
The teacher wasn't the teacher really popular?
Jesus, fire. All right.
I thought the teacher was the most popular one,
I mean,
right? I didn't really have an
teacher was
opinion.
pretty cool, but I mean, I guess Spire, who's the second most interesting character in that series?
The cause Uruka? Who was it?
What? The one who the doctor, the one who's starting to become a doctor, Komi Mami Asumi, the one with the purple hair with the was it a braid?
Oh, this one. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
yeah, her
remember.
voice is
Yes.
super recognizable too, and
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil episode 3 because that was the most interesting episode because it involves her, but her backstory was pretty good
I
as
just
to
kind
why
of
she's
remember
part of
her
the
as a
temple.
Nene Sakura in New Game. I think just because I really like that series. But yeah.
Yeah, so far she's the most interesting character. And
Mhm.
then I'm sorry to disappoint you, Spire, but the brown-haired girl, orange, the green
Orange,
headband
whatever.
girl,
Yeah.
her name is Kagura Baldwin. Get it?
What is that name?
Baldwin. Wow, Spire, don't insult Alec Baldwin.
Yeah. Uh,
You
wait,
put
this
it
is
there.
like a Sumida character?
Yep,
I
that's
can't
her.
see. I haven't watched this series. I can't imagine that voice with this face. I just can't. Can you, Nier? Can you imagine this being voiced by Usaka Sumira role? She would
Wait,
have to.
which
She would have to kill her sort of original voice, right? Did she
which one
kill
is
most of
she?
her original? The green headband one.
Kagura?
Villainess. Yeah. She
Wait,
would have to kill
really?
her sort of original voice, right? Her as
Yeah,
her base
that's
voice in order to do that. Yeah,
that's
that's very interesting.
strange.
Okay. I
I
guess it
don't know,
also helps
man.
that she's definitely older now. So
I don't know, Inspired. I don't know, Inspired. Nier did watch Urusei Yatsura.
yeah, she's much better at killing her sort of
Yeah.
initial voice or base voice. I think now,
She
or
was
suppressing
also
it rather.
in Rokudo, no, like Rokudo's girls as Himawari, but
Yeah.
the
She's getting
voice she
better at doing
uses
Onesa
is
roles.
different there. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's this
So
sort of
what is
sleepy
her?
voice. She's literally
Uh,
just she's sorry to disappoint Spider, but she's just Mia Kristoff's attendant, childhood friend
well,
slash
is her?
attendant, because
Oh, so she's not part of the harem?
no,
Why is she in the
no,
poster
not yet.
art? What the?
I mean, I guess she is.
Because the
Sure.
more girls, the better, dude.
Oh yeah, dude.
That's true. That's how it works.
I guess
Oh,
she
dude.
is. But yeah,
Okay.
and then there's Kiki, who's like the oldest.
But I guess
Three.
it's more like the it's like Chris and Margit in Majikoi, right? It's sort of that sort of relationship. I'm guessing.
Sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, and then we got Kiki, who's Takahashi Chiaki. She
Mm-hmm.
plays the sleepy drunk. Like, oh, you want to see my tits here? And it's like, oh, whatever. But yeah,
Yeah. Again, classic role for Takashi Chiaki.
that's fine.
But
And then I guess the main character, what's his name?
Akasaka Masayuki
Yeah, yeah. Who's that guy? I don't know.
apparently did a role in Kanokari, Rent a Girlfriend, and this is his
I've never
second
heard of
really
that
major
series.
role.
I don't want to hear.
What's Yoshiaki? Is that the main character? No, it's not. Oh, it's like one
I
of the side
I
characters
guess
in
this would be his first major role. Yeah,
yeah, this would be his first main character role for sure.
good for
Yes.
him. But yeah,
Yep.
you know, he's he's obviously the straight man of the series because
Hmm.
he's like, oh, I came to this temple to cleanse my worldly desires and reach enlightenment, and
Hmm.
that's what he's trying to do. Like,
But then
even
he ends
though,
up being the lucky pervert, right?
yeah,
I
even
believe.
though he said he's in love with Yuzuki and he still is, but he's like, oh, when they're telling him like, oh, clean the temple, he's like, oh, I already did, and oh, where's the waterfall training and whatnot. So he's trying to do his monk thing. So he's serious about his job
Mhm.
because he
Uh,
plays a straight man to the girls' pervy antics. That's what makes him funny and whatnot.
what? How is the OPED in this series? It's just
Fine.
standard.
Yeah.
Fine.
I.
Okay.
Oh yeah, sure. What's weird
What?
is even though it's advertised to be a pervy series,
Uh huh.
maybe it's because I too have reached enlightenment, or I have already reached enlightenment beforehand. But the pervy things in this series,
Uh huh.
they're not. They're okay, I guess.
It's not. It's not at the peak of what
Yeah.
you've seen previously in some stuff like
It's no.
Isekais or
I'm
whatever.
sorry,
Yeah.
but it's no Inukai-san's dog. I have to say.
Inukai-san is very it's a pretty high hurdle. Or the one where what was it? The one where it was like Sugita voiced it, right? The one where the girls
The
glare at the panties or whatever it was. The girls glare at the
it's Dogesa
camera in
panties,
first
right?
person.
No,
Yeah, the
that's a
Doges
different
like
series.
panties or whatever,
That's a
right?
different series. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's a different series. What I'm saying we already have very high hurdles for series. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but yeah, it's supposed to be like that, but it's not. It's okay, but it's
hmm
not as good as the humor in this series because
is it mostly it's not Lucky Pervert humor mostly, right? Is it actually slapstick or what is it?
it's literally it's you saw Baka to Test, you saw Grand Blue. It's that kind of humor of
Okay. I get it.
outrageous situations where because the main character is like, oh, this is how I reach enlightenment, and then the girl's like, yeah, sure, whatnot. So yeah, they're
Okay.
both instigators of like comedic. Or him and the girls are both instigators of like the comedic situations and
hmm
whatnot. Because in episode 2, what's her name? Episode 2 is Tsukio. Like they all hatched a plan save Yuzuki. We're like, oh, there's a boy in here. We can't live with a boy. Let's kick him out. And so they're like, okay, Tsukio, you've got the lewdest body among us, among us. So you got to do pervy things to like get him to crack, and
Right.
so we can kick him out. And so the main character's
That's
like,
a pretty classic sort of episode too
yeah.
in these sorts of series, yeah.
So the main character's taking a bath and whatnot. So she's like, so she walks into the bathroom and starts stripping, and then she's like, "What the hell am I doing? I'm doing this wrong." It's usually the usual situation is where the main character is like slips and falls on her, and then and then someone sees and they kicks them out, but she was doing it backwards. So that's a fun situation. But
hmm
like the humor was the best in episode 3 with Mia Kristoff's background and like what they were doing.
hmm
Well, I don't want to spoil it because it was pretty good. It was a pretty good funny episode. But yeah,
Okay. How are
this
the audio visuals?
fine, I
Do
guess.
they okay?
They have softer lines than they do on Grand Blue, I guess. Is what I want to
Okay.
say. Maybe it's because this is a female cast and not muscly dude cast and whatnot. So
Yeah,
I
Grand
mean,
Blue also isn't focused really on doing that sort of rom-com-ish kind of thing, right? As much.
yeah, it's a lot more humor focused. There's a lot of humor in this one too, so
Yeah.
I give it a
I
pass.
don't mean to.
What else? I mean, I think that all the girls are really voiced pretty well. They're all unique. So
Yeah.
this is a good cast for them. Other than the main character, who I don't know who it is. Yeah, they're all recognizable. All the
Yeah.
main girls have like easy to understand personalities,
Yeah.
whatnot. So yeah,
All of these are pretty standard, or at least in the modern lineup, they're quite standard. A-listers for sure, for most of them. B, I want to say probably the least known of them is, as you said, Yamashita Nanami or maybe Asane Namaraka, but all of the other Seiyu voice actresses, Anzai Chika, Takahashi Chiaki, Uesaka Sumire, Cerezo Yu, all veterans of the industry for sure. So,
but yeah.
uh,
I mean, what do I don't have any real uh downsides that I want to
yeah,
talk
I mean,
about this
you're kind
anime.
of getting what's on the label, right? You're
It's
not getting
yeah,
any, yeah, exactly.
it's
That's what
slapstick
I'm fine with that.
comedy,
Yeah,
but with
yeah.
the Buddhist twist, I guess.
What do you mean? You mean as a subject for the humor, right?
Yeah,
The whole I got to keep myself pure kind of thing.
yeah.
Like sometimes, yeah.
I gotta keep myself pure amongst these horny women, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
I mean,
I know what you're talking about.
compared to the other series, it's the opposite of Aminaideya, where the main character is a pervert, but
Mhm,
I
mhm.
mean, that's how he got his spiritual powers or whatnot and whatever. I don't know.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think of other series with like, oh, I'm a Buddhist living among women, and
There
that's the
was that
only one.
one, not it wasn't a Buddhist series, but there was a guy that came into a battle academy and he was sort of the strongest guy there, right? But nobody
Oh,
knew.
I know what you're talking
But
about. It was something dragon.
the three dragons, yeah, exactly. The three dragons or the rising dragons or whatever it is, right? The series. It was that one where the guy learned all these different techniques to keep himself sort of, I guess, pure
Dragons
and
rioting,
steady. Yeah, dragons riding or rising.
rioting.
Rioting. Yes, you are correct. Dragons riding. It's kind of similar to that, in my opinion,
I
right?
guess, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, but I also like that one. It was pretty short.
Yeah, yeah, I
Uh,
like that one too, for sure. Okay.
but I mean, yeah, this is straight up prehistoric anime, pre
Chris-
2011 anime. It's good. I don't have any. It's good old fashioned rom com, I guess.
yeah. What
Damn,
would you what mouse
I
score would you
can't
give it?
believe what's that guy's name? Seo Koji. I can't believe Seo Koji and this guy are know how to write a rom com
Yeah.
anime. Jesus Christ, that's two
Uh,
for two on my. Hey, this is pretty good rom coms and whatnot.
at least
But
that's
yeah,
good. Yeah. What mouse score?
my mouse score is probably like a 9. It's really good.
Okay. Okay.
It really makes me want to read the manga because the humor is super on point
Yeah, I want to check out the manga for this as well because it seems pretty,
and whatnot.
smooth. And again, written by, as you said, the Grand Blue person. So it's not just,
Yeah,
he's
Granblue's really
just
funny.
not
So
gonna
yeah,
just write crappy characters. Yeah, I definitely some level of trust there.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah, you know what? It's- I'm too yeah. So I had a good time watching this. So I
Yeah,
definitely
I'm glad
recommend
that you
it.
found this. Yeah, and I'm
It was
definitely a little bit more interested in it now for
it was
sure.
either this or like what else? I'm not gonna watch freaking Level 1 or Jitsuwa Saikyou. They say hell no.
Yeah, am I actually the strongest or whatever the
Hell
crap that
no.
was? Yeah.
No isekais for me this season because apparently you guys all took them.
All right. Any last
Yeah,
words on the series?
did good. Definitely check it out if you like the Bakuto Test or Grand Blue.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
despite being si- despite being marketed as like slightly pervy, yeah, even through like the openings and endings, it's really funny.
Mm-hmm.
So check it out.
All right. Thank you very, very
9 out of 10.
much. Yeah, I'm definitely more interested in this as well. Again, thank you very much for helping to review this. And continuing on from that excellent review, Nier, what do you have for us?
Fuck me,
Bringing the
man.
mood down? You're bringing the mood
Yeah,
down,
Nier.
Nier? Is this?
Nier,
I
I had a
sure
good
am.
time. I hope you had a good time too.
I did not. I did not
Toast
have
is
a
just
good
sitting
time.
back, just eating his popcorn. It's just like it's done. I'm done. Nier is just out here sweating.
Dude. Okay. Well, so I watched AI no Idenshi, uh, also known
Yeah.
as the gene of AI.
Genes of AI or
Gene,
genetics of
like
AI,
how do you
AI or
what
whatever.
kind of gene? Like genes,
It
the
would have
DNA,
probably
the
been better
soul.
if it was blue jeans. I'm not
Like
gonna
J
lie.
J
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
like genetics.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. Those are memes. The identity of the
Yeah,
soul.
yeah. This is a manga
Is this an
original,
original? Yes.
Madhouse production. Though
Oh.
you wouldn't know it from looking at it.
Does that mean no Sakuga?
Yeah, that's what it
There
means.
is zero Sakug to be found
This
in
show
this.
is kind of ugly actually. So this is I guess like sci-fi. I don't even know what fucking genre to call this, dude. Like snooze fest.
Snooze fest genre.
It's supposed. So this is supposed to be.
It's cyberpunk with a side of Resident Sleeper.
Yeah,
Is
So
that-
it's
it's
not like
cyberpunk
Detroit.
without the punk.
But so it's not like Detroit Become Human.
It it kind of is. So
It's like diet dystopia.
yeah, So the basic setup is our main character, what is this? Karu Sudo. He is a doctor, but he's a doctor who specializes in these
Illegal operations.
essentially synthetic life forms called
Mm-hmm.
humanoids, that are basically
Are they just robots? Why are they called them humanoids?
so what were they called in? They're called Reploids, right? In Blade Runner.
Yes.
They're basically
Oh.
just Reploids.
Wow, I can't
Like,
believe they
straight
copied
up.
Mega Man. What the fuck?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
What are
They're
they called in
literally
synthetic? What are they called in Fallout? Synths?
yeah.
Since.
They're a little bit different in Fallout, but yeah, they're basically just artificial people.
Yeah.
They have all the needs and wants and emotions and brain activity of a human, but they're not. They're not human beings. They can't reproduce. They do have sort of synthetic parts and brains. And our main character is sort of a doctor who is willing to do sort of black market, sort of back alley dealings with some people, depending if the price is right. And through this, he gets to know all sorts of people. But the general, I guess, setup is that he is looking for his mother, who apparently was a humanoid.
How is that possible?
Yeah, and when he was a child, he was like super sick or something, and she signed some waiver to some company that would help her, pay for funding to help
Wait, she was
cure.
a human. Wait, so she was a humanoid before this, or she was
Yes,
used as
yeah.
materials to become a humanoid?
No, she was a humanoid. You could tell.
Okay,
You
okay,
could
okay.
you could tell by the eyes.
Okay, okay.
But yeah, she was a humanoid.
So is he half
And she
humanoid?
essentially, it's not entirely. I'm
Yeah,
not really-
the
unknown.
setting behind this is not that clear.
Yeah, it's
usually.
very vague. It's sort of like, so in this series, humanoids and humans are most easily distinguished by their eyes, right?
Yes.
A human has normal eyes, right? But a humanoid has these sort of horizontal like pupils.
Like
They're
frog
kind of
eyes.
Like
yeah, they're kind of like
like
frog or
goat
goat
or
eyes.
snake or
Um,
snake.
Yeah,
they're
goat
not
or
like
frog eyes.
they're not like, you know how goat's eyes have like the two like sort of orbs, I guess, that are connected kind of in a way.
Yes.
These are kind of just like horizontal.
So it's more like frog kind of ish.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
But they're
this is a
weird
goat
looking.
eye, right?
Yeah, I thought goats were just bars, right?
Yeah,
Aren't
that's a
frogs the
goat.
ones with
Right.
the
Oh,
two
okay,
like
yeah.
pupils?
Yeah, so they're like that. They're like that.
Yeah.
Damn, they're
They're a little bit more.
Baphomets.
They're a little bit more rounded, but yeah, they're like that. And the main character has normal eyes, but his eyes are also like really bright. So there's probably something weird going on with his eyes. But yeah, the general, like, I guess, mystery behind this not at all mystery series is that the main character's mom sort of signed a waiver that allowed this company to copy her personality as like a backup, which is illegal. And something happened, and she got put in prison. But maybe like the one that got put in prison is the copy and not the real her. I don't really know what's going on.
Wait, so does he have a real mom? Or he was born from the humanoid copy of a mom, and the real mom is somewhere or
yeah,
she's dead or whatever?
So, like I said, the origins of the main character are a little vague, right?
Yes, yes.
Because we're not entirely certain if he is fully human. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes, yes.
There could be
Or
some weird shit going on there.
yeah, if he was born from a real mom, or if it was from a
Yeah.
human copy of the mom, or whatever. Yeah, exactly.
But effectively, he is searching for his mother.
Yes.
While also, talking to what is sort of implied to be a copy of his mother in prison.
Yes.
And sort of unraveling the mystery of what happened there. However, this is a show that is largely episodic. The mother subplot gets dropped immediately after episode 1. It is completely forgotten and never mentioned in the currently 3 episodes that are out now.
The mother subplot?
Yeah, it's basically just completely
I
dropped.
thought that was the main plot.
No.
No, he's just
no.
like, my mother isn't that important.
Yeah, he's just like, you know what? I'm a doctor. I do
I
doctor
got better
stuff.
things. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So this is largely episodic so far at the moment. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
assuming
because that was the initial setup of the series.
yeah,
from
I'm
the first
assuming
one.
that it'll come back later. But currently the first 3
I hope it
episodes
doesn't.
is episode 1 sets up that like main plot.
Yes.
And then episode 2 and 3 are entirely episodic, just completely.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah. Honestly, I think from what I saw in episode 1, I did not watch episodes 2 and 3. The story part of it is okay because the author is creative enough to really put the characters into perspective and stuff like that. I don't know how if the stories are better or worse in episode 2 or 3,
They're
but it
worse.
was okay, that's not good. At least the story in episode 1 was okay, but I just really didn't like the whole "Oh, I need to find my real mom" part.
Yeah.
That part is just I think that has to come back, right? Because
I mean,
that's the
absolutely, right?
core of
That's
the
that's the
character. Yeah,
crux of this, like
character. Yeah,
plot, right?
exactly.
Um,
So I hope that gets. It's gonna even if it gets delayed, it's gonna suck because it's gonna come back in like episodes 10, 9, 10, 11, 12, and it's just gonna suck. But um, tell me what happens to the stories in episode 2 and 3 that make them worse in quality than what we saw in episode 1.
right. So in episode 1, right,
Mm-hmm.
the sort of main character story that's going on is
Mm-hmm.
a pretty I guess tried and true, but still effective.
It's like a variant of the the experiment machine, or the experience machine, or something like the ship of Theseus, right? If you
Yeah.
replace a boat with all its parts, is it still the same
Is it
boat,
still the
right?
same boat, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, so the main thing is sort of a family sort of has like so there's this family a husband and wife. They're both humanoids, right? So they're both synthetic. But they have this adopted human daughter, right? But the wife gets sick, and the doctor is like, well, she has a virus, right? Like she's fucked essentially.
Kind of
Um,
virus? A human virus or
a robot
humanoid
virus,
virus?
like
What?
a computer virus. They
So
have
like, was
they
it
have
Robo-Windsor?
they
What?
have
How? What are you
they
talking?
have computer brains. It's some sort of like sloth virus. It's effectively just kills her brain.
Yeah, yeah. That's not how
And
viruses really work, but yeah, sure.
yeah,
Y2K.
but the reason she got this virus is that the husband backed up her personality data and her memories, because he was worried because the wife had taken a fall down the stairs or something and hit her head.
Yeah.
So he backed up her data or something, and effectively doing that gave her the virus.
Mhm.
And then the sort of quandary that is presented to the family is, do we use this backup data and potentially erase the current person, right?
Mm.
And sort of replace it with one that doesn't have the virus, but will live on. Right? It's the classic, if you wipe someone's mind but replace it with a perfect copy, is it still
Yeah.
the same person, kind of thing?
I think somebody posted in a Discord, right? It was the whole if you're offered the chance for yourself to be killed and replaced
Hey, that
with an
was me.
exact copy of it was Toast who posted this. If somebody offered an opportunity for yourself to be killed and replaced with an exact copy of you, physically and mentally, but with $10 million
Hell
extra,
yeah, I
would you
do
do
it.
it? Yeah,
Hell
so
yeah.
it's that sort of question,
Wait,
right?
wait. Physically? But what do you mean copy though? Because like
An exact
you're
copy
just
of yourself,
yeah, you're
right?
still dead, bro. Like I hate to tell you,
Yeah,
if
that's
it's
the whole
not your
question.
Yeah,
brain, you're still
that
dead.
is the
Like
quandary. That is the
That is the
quandary. I
Yeah,
get
quandary.
it.
And
I
exactly.
feel
yes,
like
my
that's a little
answer is
bit
I'd
less of a
hell yeah do it.
quandary for this though. I
But
feel like
in
this is
this,
dealing more with like
so in this,
consciousness, not
it's a little bit different, right? Because in this, the person that is currently alive effectively has like terminal cancer, right? Like it's going to kill them in a matter of weeks. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And the quandary is, do you kill this person and replace them with someone that doesn't have cancer, but their memory is wiped from the past like week or so. You know what I mean?
So
And so the quandary that this episode presents is this isn't really a big deal to the people around this person, right? They're like, oh well, you lose like a week's worth of memory. What's the big
Right.
deal, right? But to the person, they're dying, right? Like
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
going to die.
They are getting erased, yes.
Yeah,
hold
like
on,
they're.
isn't this Soma then?
I mean, yeah, this is again. This is
yeah,
a very
it's
Yeah, this is a
tried and
very
close to
true.
standard.
This
some.
is a
Yeah,
very
yeah,
tried
yeah,
and
yeah.
true, like synthetic, like humanoid storyline, right?
Mm.
But I feel like it's presented here pretty well, right? Because it's a family dynamic, right? It's like a loss of a loved one kind of thing. And I think the way the perspectives are presented is very different, right? Because usually when you're presented with this typical storyline, right, it's from the perspective of the person that's sort of getting their memory wiped. You know what I mean? Like a soma kind of thing where you're uploading your consciousness and it's like, wait a minute, that's not really me. You know what I mean? But for this, it's sort of an outside perspective where it's like, yeah, everyone around this person is like, oh, well, what's the big deal, right? You kind of just lose a week's worth of memory. But then you have some other people saying like, well, just because they're quote unquote losing a week's worth of memory, does it really mean that's still the same person? You know what I mean? Because you are still wiping this person's brain
And
and
replacing it with a
re-uploading.
copy. Yeah,
You're
exactly.
re-uploading a copy of the same person, right?
Mhm.
So it's a pretty interesting episode, right?
Yeah.
Um,
So what
and
happens in episode 2 and 3 is my
so
question.
so in episode 2, pretty sure it's episode 2. So in episode 2, there's this student, right? And he is like, he's an athlete. I'm pretty sure he's in like the 100-meter dash or some shit, right? And he
Yeah.
is a humanoid, right? He's a synthetic being, and he is starting to fall behind his friend in terms of performance. And the sort of dilemma that he's having is, he wishes he was human because the way he perceives himself is he's a machine, right? He has a specific set of specifications, right? And he can't really grow beyond that in terms of, like a human being can grow muscle mass and become faster or stronger, right? But
Wait,
humanoids have a little bit more difficulty doing that because, they are designed to be a certain way, right? They still grow and age like a normal human does, but, they still at the end of the day, they are a synthetic being, right? And they do have limitations.
why would you
Um,
make humanoids weaker than humans though? Like, I don't get the whole power. I still don't get the whole power dynamic between like humans and humanoids.
I mean, there's no real like
I
power
think
dynamic. It's kind of
Like,
just
weren't
whatever.
humanoids made to like assist humans, or like why were
No.
the
humanoids made?
general
No.
the general part of the lore of why humanoids are crappy in XYZ ways is they generally refer to the potential dangers of humanoids being copied and used in crimes or whatever it is. And that's why there's a lot of limitations with regard
Let me guess. Humanoids also
I mean-
stand at the back of the bus with no seats.
No, they don't.
Oh,
There's
In
no-
terms of like,
Damn, this is not Detroit Become Human then.
no,
Yeah.
not quite. There are no on the nose fucking civil rights allegories here.
yeah.
But yeah, so this one is sort of like, the student sort of essentially just gets like mad, that he's not able to run as fast as his friend. They get in a fight with each other. When they're playing volleyball, he sort of like he goes to hit the ball, but his friend also goes to hit the ball at the same time. They collide with each other. He ends up breaking his friend's leg, and then he has this sort of internal like monologue moment where he's like, "Oh, if I had gotten injured instead, I could have just been repaired. But now my friend, who's a human, you know, he can't run anymore. Uh, and it's like, maybe being a humanoid isn't so bad." And that's
such an
literally
awesome takeaway.
that's
Nice.
literally the
opposite
entire
takeaway
episode.
that I thought
That's
you
the
were
whole
gonna say
episode.
he has.
Why is he having a mental quandary? About, oh, if I was human, if they can repair them, they can also upgrade them. So it's like
Yes, yes.
that's so
In that
shallow.
literal exact episode, they establish that humanoids can do body modification, and
Wow, we
as a matter of
cyberpunk
fact, they
now.
can
Dude,
literally
that's sick.
change. They can change bodies. They can literally
That's way
change
cooler.
bodies.
What the hell?
Okay,
Um,
June. Yeah.
And within
Legit.
episode 2, so the sort of other side subplot, with the main character, because this like student like plot, the main character literally doesn't really interact with this at all, which is why it's like, okay, it's whatever. But what the main character is doing is sort of reconnecting with an old friend they have, who's also a humanoid, who they knew from a long time ago. They were like lab partners or whatever. And it's revealed at the end of the episode that this lady used to be a man, right? And their sort of gender identity.
Oh man, they're
has-
throwing everything into
Yeah,
this.
their sort of like gender identity has allowed them to change their body to how they see fit, stuff like that. So like within the episode, they establish that a humanoid can sort of upgrade their body, add modifications, or change their body completely. But then you have this plot of a humanoid character, being sort of angry and frustrated at the limited specifications of his body as a as a synthetic human, right? And it's like this doesn't make sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You have two conflicting messages
Yeah.
in the.
And on top of that, the like ending sort of message of, I guess, like being, I don't know, like comfortable in your own body, I guess was the message. It like doesn't really matter.
That should be the message. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but it like doesn't really matter because it's like nothing really happened to the student. He kind of just hurt his friend, and then it was like, oh, maybe being a robot ain't so bad. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, and then
And
later
then
on,
you
he's gonna
kind
come
of
back as an
have-
antagonist, like humanoid supremacist. Okay,
Yeah. But he's also gonna
You just
be
haven't seen the
be
ending
changing his
yet.
body to be female. Yeah. But
yeah,
he's gonna change his body to be like have guns on it.
giant. It's gonna have giant guns, and he's gonna have 4 legs.
Yeah,
And he's
gonna go into
fight,
psychokinesis
and
or
he's gonna
whatever.
fight.
The
He's gonna fight Atom
cyberpsychosis.
Smasher.
Yeah.
yeah.
For no reason.
Okay.
So
uh,
So in episode 3, episode 3 is the dumbest one in my opinion. It's really fucking stupid. So, because there's a lot of shit happening in episode 3, and literally none of it matters. It is literally an episode with no message at all. So in episode 3, it opens up with this kid has this toy, right? This teddy bear, this talking teddy bear, and this episode sets up that not only are there the humanoids, right? There's like the synthetic humans. There are robots, straight up robots, right? With
Yeah.
like a very limited set of AI, right? And they are, they are incapable of feeling like actual emotion, right?
Mhm.
And it sets us up with this humanoid girl is sort of renting out this boyfriend robot, right?
Okay.
And she falls in love with this boyfriend robot. But then she sort of has this conflicting um feeling of like is this really like a relationship? Is this really love kind of thing, right?
Or is she forcing her emotions onto the robot? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then so that's the beginning of the episode. And then it drops that for pretty much the rest of the episode, right? So she's gone. And then it opens with
Wait,
this.
is this like a mini episode, like within the episode? Like what
No,
is
no,
going
no, no,
on?
no. This comes back at the end of the episode, you see.
Oh, what the fuck?
Um
Okay.
so it then opens up with the main character is fixing this kid's toy, right? The teddy bear.
Okay.
And this teddy bear toy is also a robot, right?
Okay.
And it's sort of having like some weird malfunction or something. So the main character does this like factory memory reset thing. But the mom of the kid is like, I kind of wish the toy was just broken because the kid is like this robot is like this kid's only friend. Like he refuses to make like actual like
Okay.
human connections. Um, he's overly dependent on this teddy bear robot for like social interaction. Um, and the mom is sort of having this conflict of like, do I just rip this toy away from the kid,
Mhm.
or like, how do I get um this robot toy away from this kid? Because the mom is like, the kid is like, saying that the teddy bear like has truly like they're like real friends, right? Like it feels emotion, it has a heart. um and the mom is like, that's fucking stupid, right? Like it's a robot.
Mm.
It can't feel emotion. um and pretty much the whole episode is the kid ends up running away from home. um
Okay.
the teddy bear starts malfunctioning even more and starts like having apparently memories resurface from its previous owner, from apparently like 20 years ago or some shit.
Bro, this is reminding me of a synopsis of a horror movie that like
I
looked through
Robot.
recently. No, 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 no. It was like Beth or some weird like C tier Saturday matinee
Yeah.
horror movie about a female robot who hooks up and becomes friends with like a kid or whatever and the kid becomes super dependent, but then the robot becomes like a killer robot or something like that. But anyways, yeah, it kind of reminds me of that shit, honestly. The robot malfunctioning and everything
But
too.
yeah, so the kid ends up running away from home,
Mhm.
and he ends up like falling asleep on the street, essentially, right? Like,
Okay.
um, and
Full hobo, yes.
the teddy bear is like, essentially pleading with people that are passing by, to help this kid, right? Because the robot is like, we should go home. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Okay, 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 okay.
and it ends up the teddy bear robot ends up getting kicked into the road, and run over. And
Oh, okay.
the mom ends up, finding the kid eventually,
Mhm.
and sort of sees this and has like this weird change of heart, and it's like, maybe the teddy bear does have a heart. Um,
Oh, that was the thing that they were trying to go for? Okay.
yeah, and then um, I think a little bit, actually a little bit before that, right? So the boyfriend robot, right? The boyfriend robot comes back.
Okay.
Like before the kid falls asleep on the street, the kid talks to, the kid sees like the humanoid girl and the boyfriend robot, like I guess having their like last moment before, you know, the boyfriend robot gets like shipped off to get his memory wiped or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, and the kid talks to the robot, and he's like, aren't you sad that your memories are going to be wiped away?
Mm.
And the boyfriend robot's like, I don't care.
Wait, what?
Good.
I don't
Wait,
I don't
full-
I don't really give a shit.
Wait,
Um,
but we just went through the thing with a mother
Yeah.
at the.
So that happens, and then the teddy bear gets run over, right? And then the mom
Oh,
is
okay,
like,
okay, okay,
yeah,
okay,
and
okay.
then the mom is like, okay, maybe robots do have a heart.
That ordering makes a little bit more sense, I
Yeah.
think.
So I still don't know what the purpose of the boyfriend robot was, at all.
That was a very
in
got
the
us in the
episode.
first half. I'm not gonna lie moment
Yeah.
there.
So and then at the very end of the episode, they end up sort of figuring out what the memories are, right, of the previous owner, like who that kid
Yes.
is.
Yes. Yes.
And they end up like they visit this kid's grave. Apparently, the kid died as a child, and that's sort of why the robot has these sort of unresolved, I guess, like
Feelings,
like the
emotions.
emotions. I guess the robot sort of lacks closure, right?
Yes.
And
I got.
visiting the grave sort of gives this teddy bear like closure or whatever. Um,
Mhm.
and it sort of ends off on this somewhat ambiguous note of, this teddy bear robot is developing like true emotion, whereas some of these other robots just aren't. And
Oh,
I
okay.
guess the implication is like what
And
is the
that's who's
real
leading the civil rights analogy.
yeah like what is I guess like what is the real like distinction? Is it just like, the amount of time that you allow something to go without having its memory wiped? Is I guess is the self just like an accumulation of memories?
Uh-huh.
The episode is sort of ambiguous on like what gives something a
Yeah,
heart
the
in the
problem
metaphorical
here is
sense, right?
that
Um,
regardless of how many times we go through variants of the experience machine
yeah,
or the ship of Theseus, like these are good concepts to build upon, regardless of how many variants we see them. But it's the author didn't do a good job of A, sticking with a proper message, and B, just creating good stories. He's just not creating good stories. I
yeah,
don't
they're
know what
not
else to
great,
say.
and they're also not they don't wrap up, right? Like they don't really wrap up properly. I
Mhm.
think they're kind of just presented as is, and it's like, the viewer has to sort of
Yeah, it's kind of like the author wanted to do one of those journey series, right? Kino no Tabi or Majo no Tabi Tabi kind of stuff, or Mushishi kind of like
yeah,
series. But the issue is because the how do I say this? Something like Kino no Tabi or Majo no Tabi Tabi or Mushishi are not thematic, right? They're not centered around a certain message or a set of conflicts. It's more they're just doing things and they're seeing people, right? And it's usually the premise of it usually says, "Oh, you see both the good side and the bad side of humans as the witch travels," or something, some bullshit like that, right?
yeah,
Um, but this is very centered. This is very not I don't want to say narrow, but pointed. It is pointed at a certain theme at a set of conflicts, and the author needs to show a message. It needs to show a side of these things, and just being like, yeah, AI. Could they have heart? Man, fuck them. Kind of that sort of wishy-washy thing doesn't work as well in this sort of series. I think is
yeah.
Mhm.
Especially, I don't know. For me, episode 3 is really just not great because you have the boyfriend robot plot, right, which is like
Mhm.
completely unnecessary. I don't understand what that's there for. I don't know if they're gonna like bring that back in a later episode or something. Um, but it's like that probably should have been isolated to its own episode. Um, and then it's strange because it's like I kind of understand like the core like I guess, thing they're really going for is like, you know, just because you say, something is a certain way, that doesn't mean like it's always going to be that way, kind of thing, right? In the fact of like saying that, oh, well, it's just a robot, it can't feel like real emotion, right? It's just programmed to simulate emotion, right? Just
Mhm.
because you say that's the way it is, that doesn't necessarily mean it's always going to be like that. Or just because, I guess the message is like, just because society perceives something in a certain way doesn't mean that's the way it really is, right?
Mhm.
But the issue with a lot of these episodes, I feel, is it presents that, and then it doesn't really deliver on that. You know what I mean? Like there's
Mhm.
no real payoff, right? It's
And
always
also
left.
because
It's
there's
always
no
left.
resolution, you also have the conflicting messages, and the viewer is always kind of left in suspense, being like, "So are you telling us to fuck off, or like, well, what's happening?"
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
always presented in this sort of ambiguous, like, yeah, maybe. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But it's like
Both
when you're,
sides. Yeah, it's
yeah, when you're presenting a message that's like, you know, pretty obvious, right? Like it's pretty
yeah.
clear what your message is. You
Mhm.
have to like follow through with that. You know what I mean? You have to
Yeah,
be like, yes, this is the message that I, as an author, want to push. You know what I mean?
yeah.
You can't
Even if
be
it's
like,
cheesy,
yeah,
you
like
have
even
to
if
go
it's
through
corny,
with it.
even if it's, a very obvious message, right?
Mhm.
You still have to follow through with it. Be like, this is
Yeah,
something that
exactly.
I, as an author, believe in, and something that I want to put into, my art. Um,
Mhm.
and to be like, oh, just because society perceives something to be the way it is, that doesn't necessarily mean it is that way. I
Mhm.
think, maybe,
I
sort
mean,
of.
I
I
think
don't know.
I don't wanna
I
be
think I'll
too
leave it up to
obvious. Yeah,
you, the viewer.
exactly.
It's like,
Yeah,
what?
I don't have all the
Come on, man.
answers.
Yeah, it's like you can't present like all of this very obvious evidence that like this teddy bear robot is very clearly like gaining emotion and some semblance of sentience, right?
Yeah.
And then like literally like the ending like lines of the episode for this teddy bear is the mom, like the boy is like, "Oh, did you change your mind about like robots not being able to have hearts?" And the mom is like, "I don't know, maybe." And then the episode ends. It's like, dude, you have to like stand your ground.
It's like the author had allergies when watching Chobits. You know what I mean? I know because when we talk about something like Chobits or variants thereof, right? Or the standard robot gaining sentience, oh, do robots have emotions? We make fun of them, and rightfully so, because a lot of things are cheesy and don't really try to. A lot of authors don't even bother trying to think outside of the box, right? They're just like, yeah, yeah, robots, heart, yeah, haha, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think this author almost tried to go the other way so hard, try to avoid that sort of cheesy Chobits ending, that he just left it murky. It was just, yeah, AI could,
But you can tell he
yeah.
wants to do that. You can tell he wants to go for the
Yeah, because
cheesy.
that's the
Yeah, because
stereotypical good ending. Because that,
yeah,
like,
because
almost you're just saying, "Hey, fuck you if you if you think you have emotions." Like
yeah, I
that's
mean
yeah,
it's effectively being like, oh, robots should just be treated as fucking third
slaves.
class citizens. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
Like
Which is not
they're
something
not
that you want to say
even
in public.
yeah, they're not
Yeah,
even like seen as alive
yeah.
in this sort of setting, right? Like
Hmm.
they're literally tools.
Yeah,
They are a product.
yeah.
Um, and to sort of be like ambiguous about whether this thing is truly alive or not, I
Hmm.
think is uh, I don't know, a little bit suspect. It's a bit of a strange
It's
topic to
writing
be.
that's not in good faith.
It's
Yeah,
a
it's a
strange. It's
strange
certainly a
topic to be a
strange thing to
wishy-washy
like.
on.
Yeah, especially when like you are the creator. Like this is your world. Like you're the one asking the questions. Why don't you answer it? Like
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah,
this is not. This is not, obviously
it's
like there's
very
not something
unfortunate.
rooted in reality in that
Yeah,
regard. So it's like you can answer that question. Like
yeah,
But yeah, I mean that's kind of it that I had
yeah.
in terms of like
But
story.
Yeah.
Um,
Audio visuals. I know this is a Madhouse. Is Madhouse doing? Is this the only series that Madhouse is doing this season? I know DR movie and some other, the standard subcontractors, especially Graphinica, right, are helping out.
as far as I'm aware, this is the only one, right?
That they're doing this season. Okay.
Yeah, because they did like Yamada-kun last season, right?
Uh-huh.
And then
Yes.
I think next season they're doing Frieren, right? Um,
Oh, yeah. I think you might be right.
so
Yes.
they're
Yes.
probably just pushing a lot of their workforce to that, if I had to guess. Because audio visually, this show is kind of ugly. The color palette's pretty flat. Um,
Yeah. This guy. I think. So the director seems like he's had a bunch of experience in doing a lot of like other stuff, like in lower roles, but he's not had that much experience as a full-on director. And let me see if
I
I
mean, he
see
did
it
Police in a
here. Yeah,
Pod, right, which was
yeah, yeah.
solid. It was good. It had, you know, just solid direction all around, in my opinion.
Hmm.
He's done a couple other like smaller projects, I think.
Yeah.
He's done some
I think,
movies.
yeah, I think
Um,
both of the director and the chief animation director, right, have had a lot of different roles, just not necessarily in huge sort of major
yeah,
works
if I
as
had to
far as
guess,
that, right?
this is probably largely a manpower thing. Um,
Yeah.
I really can't imagine Madhouse isn't like full hands on deck for Freyran right now.
Mm.
And they're sort of diverting.
They're front
Um,
loading, you mean, with the money? Yeah. Okay.
yeah, more than
Yeah, that's
likely.
true.
Um, because yeah, the lines in this are kind of not great.
It is
Um,
very, yeah, it's
the fact
very.
that like some of the key like striking like visual elements of this series are supposed to be the eyes,
Mm.
and they are very flat. They're very like um, PNG-esque. Uh, they're really not. They don't look too great. Um, they kind of stick out like a sore thumb on like characters'
Mhm.
faces. The series doesn't really look that amazing overall. Not that like this is a series that really needs to look super incredible, but it's
Mhm.
pretty mediocre, especially for
Underwhelming.
Madhouse.
Yes,
Um,
yes. It's the curse of
uh,
expectations because Madhouse should be doing better in order to kind of keep up the Madhouse name, but they aren't. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of music, I mean, it's a lot of what you'd expect from a sci-fi series about robots with emotions.
Yeah.
There's a
That
lot of auto
opening was the
tune.
most
Uh,
that opening was the most blow smoke up one's ass kind of thing I've seen in quite a while.
yeah. Um,
Yeah.
pretty generic. Um,
Yes.
yeah. I don't know. I I don't really have too much positive to say about this show.
Mhm.
It's like it really feels like I don't know if the manga's like this. I don't want to rail him too hard. This does seem pretty episodic. I don't know if maybe the manga is more fleshed out in terms of
Mhm.
its arcs. I will say what I've seen of the manga, um, in terms of like art, it certainly looks a lot better. Um,
Mhm.
so
So you think you think Madhouse is mainly already on the free run train with all the man hours kind of being loaded towards there, probably. Yeah.
I mean, I can't see them not. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, fear.
Free Run's pretty big. It's a pretty big
Yeah, free run
name.
is quite big.
Um,
Yes.
you know, I feel like maybe this was just a project to, you know, buy time, get a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bit of
yeah.
money in the
Not
pockets,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Not put him fully in the red, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, just sort of unfortunate. I watched the first episode. I was like, oh, maybe this could be interesting. No, I feel like it, because even in the first episode, right, like
Yeah.
the resolution wasn't really all there. I felt like the
Yeah, it
presentation,
was a little bit half baked at times.
yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like the presentation was good. It didn't really follow through properly, but I was like, maybe there could be something here.
Yeah.
And then the next 2 episodes happened, and it's really all downhill. This really feels like a show that presents a message and then kind of goes, maybe never mind. Actually,
Just
maybe
throws it away. Yeah.
it's up to you. Maybe if you feel like it, that's what the message is. But if you don't, maybe there
That's
isn't
fine
one.
too. Yeah.
So
Nier,
yeah,
do you like 0-1?
yeah,
Which is better, this or 0-1?
probably 0-1.
Which is better, this or Detroit Human? Become Human?
Probably Detroit Become Human.
Even though it's more racist?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Detroit Become
What?
Human has its sort of allegory, its message, and it follows through, right? For better or worse. And it also has characters that are very fun, and some that aren't. But yeah.
What mouse score? Gotta have the mouse score.
I'd probably like a 3.5, maybe a 4.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah, I don't have many great things to say about this.
Yeah.
I can't really. I don't know, man. If you're someone that thinks like Plastic Memories is the greatest thing known to man, maybe you'll like this. But otherwise, I can't recommend it, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Nier. And again, that was AI no Idenshi, right? The genetics of
Yeah.
AI or whatever it's called. This is actually the Madhouse series for this season. A little bit
Yeah.
unfortunate, but hopefully they are gonna bust everybody out wide open with free rent. I know what was their past couple of series? It was Police in a Pod, or no, it was like Tact Opus. Then it was Police in a
Hacked
Pod, I believe.
Opus. Yikes.
Well,
I mean,
Tact
they
Opus was
did.
also Tact Opus looked fine. It was just like a mobile game series, and it was
Yeah.
also with Mappa, right? So they had a lot of money. No, it was
Well, I'll
not only
say
with Mappa, it was backed by Bamco, right? Because it
I
was
think so.
yeah, because it was like a full-on $100
Multimedia
billion
kind of
mobile
thing.
game. Or yeah, it was like a full
Um,
multimedia.
but yeah, ever since, because Sunny Boy for me was they knocked it out of the park, right?
Yeah, Sunny
Ever
Boy
since then,
was
they did Tactopus, Place in a Pod.
Bibliophile Princess was okay, but it was nothing
Obviously,
to write home
yeah,
about. Yeah, exactly.
continuing
Yamada-kun, I
Overlord,
think similar
Yamada-kun,
stuff. Yeah,
yeah,
Overlord 4 was not. Yeah, that was, let's not talk about that. But
Was
and then
Overlord 4
this.
the one where Ainz finally became a bad guy?
Irons became a bad guy a long while back. But
Wasn't it
it
season 2?
yeah,
I
that
can't
was
believe
it's
it.
season 2 of the anime, but it was
I'm
yeah,
still in
he was
disbelief.
always like I still disbelief that I
I'm
would
still in
actually
disbelief that
kill people.
the big skeleton in purple
Yeah,
robes with the big fucking
exactly.
red orb is evil. Is
The big evil skeleton is the bad guy?
Like I can't watch this anime anymore. Sorry guys,
this
it's
anime
too
titled
disturbing.
Overlord?
Yeah, exactly. Um, but yeah, taking out Tactopus Destiny and taking out, I want to say solidish, but pretty standard stuff like Police in a Pod, Bibliophile Princess, or not even Bibliophile Princess, mainly with stuff like Police in a Pod, right? It
Yeah.
was, I think Dark did like Vampire Dies in No Time, but that was also relatively standard. Right? It was like small time. I think Sunny Boy to Free Rent. It's been 2 years since Madhouse, excuse me, not Mappa. Madhouse has really potentially knocked it out of the park, and we're
Yeah.
hoping that they do so with Free Rent. It looks good from the trailers, but there's
Yeah, I mean,
there's always been
they can
surprises. Yeah,
fall on their face.
yeah.
But we'll see.
Kofuku graffiti was always a thing, although Kofuku
Yeah.
graffiti source material was also not that good. But um, anyways, thank you Nier for helping to cover AI no Idenshi. If you guys are interested in checking out more, I guess to watch this or read the manga or whatever. Next on the chopping block, we have Dark. Yeah, for us.
I have what is this? Is it? Am I
You want
gonna?
me to
Yeah, the
read the
most
title here?
heretical last boss queen, from villainess to savior. Yeah, I'm
Slay.
not reading the fucking Japanese
Yeah,
title. If you
it's
want to do that, then
yeah, it's Higeki no Genkyou to naru Saikyou Gedou last boss Joou wa min no tame ni Tsukushimasu. Yeah, it's a
yeah,
very,
I
very
wonder
long title.
why.
It's one of those classic, super long title names that are just like, why? Why would you do this? But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, keep going.
So this is about Pride Royal Ivy is the final boss and the all-around scum of the Otome game to a beam of light with you. And yeah, in lieu of doing the whole description, yeah, you know,
It's a Villainous
this is
series,
about
right?
yeah, this is about a person who is hit by a truck and gets reincarnated as the villainess in an Otome game with all of her memories and vague memories of the Otome game. And you know, her character has done things like enslave one of the other main characters and force him under contract to kill his mother, just for fun.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and it's just
Wow,
like
just
in
like me.
general, like an actual villainess, like not even like a cartoon, like cartoonishly evil, but like in the extreme sense, not in the sense of like, you know, she's like mean. It's like no, she's actually like
Not
committing
in the sense of Yas
crimes.
Queen. Yes.
Um, but yeah, so our main character is reincarnated as that. Obviously, you know, her whole thing is she dies later on in the story when she turns 18. Um, and what's a little bit interesting about this is that very early on, she stops her father from getting into an accident, and her mother would set off a chain of events where her mother, the queen, would also die. And she stops that very early on without realizing that that's even possible for her to like subvert the story. The large part of the main first episode is her thinking that she can't subvert the story and is just like, well, fuck, I'm just gonna die when I'm 18. Great. And yeah, so we kind of just take off from there. Instead of it, well, technically she's still quote unquote the main, like one of the main love interests. Stale Royal Ivy. She technically does still. He's technically is like kind of enslaved. Because he's forced to join the royal family under adoption because of what's it called? He can teleport. Yeah. By the way, people have powers in this.
What?
Yeah, he can teleport.
Yeah. Okay. So it's supernatural powers. Okay, but
Yeah,
it's
so
not
he
just
has
like
supernatural.
small powers. It's actual big powers.
Yeah, significant. Oh yeah, they also think that the main character has precognition, which she doesn't. It's just because you know she has knowledge of what's going to happen because of the whole
The game thing.
reincarnation thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, moving on from that. I'm trying to think of what else is like kind of the big ticket
Is
items. Yeah,
this
so that's kind of it. Like
is this
Stale becomes like
mini
her
arc?
like servant.
Is this mini arc?
Kind of,
What is
yeah.
it?
So
Okay.
at first, like it's you know her building a relationship with Stale. Um, you know she winds up pulling strings so that he can actually message his mother and like write letters to her and keep in contact. Um, but you know she's also unknown to everyone else, grappling with the events of the Otome game. So rather than like she's very too Stale as well apologetic at certain times just because she is aware of like what could have happened essentially, like what she did more or less, which I think was a pretty interesting angle to go for. And yeah, so she just builds a relationship with him. He becomes very protective. And then she winds up befriending her the main character of the game, who is her like younger sister, like adopted sister as well. And it kind of just goes from there that she is building up as these series do to become like the main character savior type. and the sort of polar opposite.
This isn't it is. There's a lot of things that kind of this sort of these sorts of series usually juggle, right? There's potential statecraft, there's the reverse harem, there's the kind of development of the character and doing, potential slow life or RPG kind of style build-ups, stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff a lot of balls that can potentially be juggled. Oh, well, how's the focus in the series?
It's pretty. I feel like it's pretty locked in because at least right now it's kind of only her, and it is listed as the mains are Pride, Stale, and Tiara. And Tiara is like the old MC. Pride is the MC, is like the Villainess, and then Stale is the like brother-in-law / love interest at this point. And they're pretty locked in. Well, not brother-in-law, like literally, like I said, technically enslaved. But free now, so it's all good.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it kind of like there is a romance thing that bounces off between them. There's not really a lot of statecraft right now. It's a lot of like, it's more so of like the interpersonal relationships and bouncing off of the events of the Otome game. What I would say has come up too, which I haven't seen more of in episode 3 yet. I'm wondering if they're really going to carry a lot of that forward or not. Is that Stale has a nightmare about the events of Pride forcing him to kill his mother. And that was also before she kind of like broke the chains of like allowing him to have contact with his mother as well. So I'm wondering if like that was just a like one-off thing, or if these characters are like gonna start more reacting to that. The other thing that kind of happened was her mother, the queen, has precognition as well, and like that's how she becomes like the new queen, essentially, is like she develops her powers of precognition. But the queen is like now saying like, oh, she's cut off of the future for Pride now for some reason, and she's the only person who that's happened for. And yeah, I would say it's juggling like those aspects pretty well. I'm not really sure about the statecraft aspect. There was like a little line from Pride being like, I like no matter what my future is, like I want to build like the best country possible for my family and like my countrymen. So yeah, I would say the most original things about this series so far are the, horrific events that she caused, essentially, or was going to cause. The main character very much being sort of stuck on that factor in a way. She's very like, like I said, it's very hard for her to move on from those events that haven't actually technically happened. And whatever they might do with the nightmares of like, with like Stale's like nightmare stuff, if like that kind of bleeds in of people being a little taken aback or something, or like having different perspectives of this character before meeting her, or if that even turns into anything with someone else with like different powers or something like that. Not really sure if that's going to happen. I'm curious to see if like there is with like other abilities. Also, I guess like the abilities do kind of make things a little bit interesting with the role that Stale is playing, because there's already been a almost not heist film type scenario, but of him like pulling strings, like setting up traps and stuff like that to essentially sabotage another character that was trying to sabotage Pride's reputation. And so he's using his teleportation to be like non-confrontational, but to like, like slip evidence in places and shit like that. So I think like that aspect could be pretty interesting too. It's like you have a character that teleports, like that's kind of a big deal. And so far they've used it. So and using that to navigate statecraft, or what you call it, not statecraft, but like political blockades that you would normally have with like confrontation, I think is a pretty interesting thing to do. So overall,
Kind
I'd
of
say this
avoiding the
series
usual kind of
decently
like
sets
Game
it
of Thrones
apart.
drama stuff.
Yeah, and the series is like decently setting itself apart for now.
Okay. I know that this power, again, just going through this kind of standard stuff. I know this was made by OLM. Specifically, I think the producer, right, Yoshioka Daisuke, assembled his sort of motley crew under OLM. I think from a combination of this kit show that they did, Kokotama, scraped the producer or director from that, Nita Norio, as well as a lot of the others like director of photography, animation director, stuff like that. And I know that, yeah, so I think it's like a combination of that and some other people from the outside, from subcontractors.
Yeah,
and so on.
there's some people from the holdover from the same studio from
Yeah.
what was it called? The definitely not gay fantasy bishoujo.
Yeah, and he
There's nothing.
he also pulled a little bit from the Pokemon stuff that did, right? Some connections from there as well. And so, what do you think about the general OPED kind of audio visuals as well? And general
Audio visuals, I think, are
visuals of
pretty
the
solid.
series?
Yeah, I think everything's pretty good. I think the OP is like a little, kind of like whatever. But I think as far as like quality goes, like I really have no complaints. I think this looks better
It should be pretty solid overall, unless they're getting spooned off to like 50 different subcontractors, right? It should be pretty solid overall.
Yeah, there's definitely nothing that's like, stand out bad. There's nothing that's been stand out great. But there has been like, there's like a sword fighting scene that's like not, it's not doing anything crazy, but again, like you would expect in some cases for something that includes like a scene of a character jumping over someone for it to start looking like fucked up. Like she does like a, what would you call it, like a front flip while jumping over a person maneuver, and like that actually didn't look terrible. So you can kind of guess that like the series is going to at least be decent visually, I feel like, from gauging with just that alone. But yeah, overall, I would say I'm kind of happy with it. It's definitely better than that. God, I don't even remember the name of it. Not Death Flag. I still think Death Flag is obviously the like king at this point.
Katarina / Death Flag.
Yeah,
is the same.
yeah. That one is gonna be like the ruler, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
But
the issue
it's
is
definitely better than the other one that
series,
came out like 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. I just
because that one was like okay. It was the other Villainous one that came out.
The one with the Demon King?
Yes. Yeah, that one had its own quirks, and it wasn't like...
She hung out with like his demons and a bird. That one?
Yeah, that one still had like fun aspects to it, but
yeah, this one's better than that.
It's definitely better than that, just from like character and storyline wise.
She acts more like an actual anime protagonist rather than Villainous.
Yeah, that other one is like, I don't even know what to consider the other one. That last one. That one gets really weird too, with like a really weird like plot contrivances with how it changes. So I think this one has also not like has stick to the core as well pretty well. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah. Anything else that you want to mention about the series? I know it's a pretty standard kind of formula, although it is, I guess, smoothed out some of the crinkles that you would usually see in these sorts of ultimate game isekais. That might kind of turn it into an otherwise mediocre series. But
yeah, I would say things to look out for with this series are the fact that it starts off horrifically bad. It starts off like you're like, for me, like, God, I got like 5 minutes in and I was like, fuck, am I really gonna even get through this? Like, holy shit, like this is because you know, again, if you've seen Death Flag with like Katarina, like you're sitting there and you're like, oh, we're doing this again. Oh, okay, we're doing this shit. Like this is literally just the same. Um,
Yeah.
and then once other characters start getting introduced, like it starts getting a lot better about halfway through episode 1 and episode 2 and into episode 2. It drastically improves with Style like being introduced and then the expanded cast. So I think there is probably going to be decent stuff worth watching here. I hope they tackle some more of like the false memories type things with the essentially true timeline that should have happened. I do kind of hope that they have um, something with that. I hope it's nothing like too serious of like trying to reintroduce the true timeline, but I do hope that they have like some sort of like questioning by other characters of like, you know, like why do I feel like why does this feel off, you know, like type thing, and seeing if there's like some way to resolve that.
Right.
I do kind of, but yeah, I do kind of hope there is like a little touch of that, just because that I feel like would set it even further apart from the other Villainous series.
Yeah, it would definitely be an upgrade. Yeah, sure. All right.
Yeah. Other than that, I would definitely recommend it. I think this is a solid 7 to 7.5 from Mall standards.
All right. Well, again, I definitely want to check this out as well, especially because again, the main character is also voiced by Faruzai, and I
Never heard of her.
Yeah, just random person on the street, but I want to check that out. I know again, as Dark mentioned, the character settings are pretty unique, or potential for development is pretty unique. So I want to check that out as well. So if you guys are interested, this was originally a web novel original, and then it got adapted into light novel / and now into an anime, right? And it is again the most heretical last boss queen, from villainess to savior, also known as Higeki no Genkyou to naru Saikyou Gedou last boss Joou wa min no tame ni Tsukushimasu. This is OLM Studios heading the front, and motley crew of OLM Pokemon / some kids show Kokotama people coming together and make this pretty good. Again, as Dark recommends it, please do check it out if you are interested. Thank you very much, Dark. And I'll just quickly go over, I want to say quickly, but it is one of the more noted series of the season that I'm covering here. And it is Reborn as a Vending Machine. I now wander the dungeon. Yes, it is the vending machine isekai, or vending machine dad isekai, whatever you want to call it.
Why are you
Also known as
Spire? Isn't that what kind of grooming are you into? I would not call him vending machine dad.
whatever vending machine isekai. The Japanese name being Jidouhanbaiki ni Umarekawatta ore wa Meikyuu ni Samayou. This is a co-production with Studio Gokumi and Axis, so this is a pretty common combination that they've done quite a lot. Studio Gokumi known for their work on stuff like 8 Channel, Oda Nobuno Yoyabo, Kiniro Mosaic, obviously a very famous one, Yu or Yuki Yunai's Hero, obviously very famous, the Koi de Oshikoto OVA, and most recently, I believe this season, actually, they're also working on Yumemiru Danshi Genshi, or Dreaming Boy as a Realist, right? So they're also working on that as well this season. They're working alongside Studio Access, which are mostly sort of subcontractors, second key animation stuff. They do animation production cooperation. They did also help Studio Gokumi with a Kiniro Mosaic special, if I remember correctly, and with one of the works in a year or so ago, was it? World's End Harem? I think Nier or Toast covered that one, right? I think Toast covered that one.
Which one?
World's End Harem, right? The one where the guy wakes up and then there's the purple haired girl and all that.
Why would I cover that, dude?
Yeah, why would he cover it?
Sorry. I like temporarily mixed it up with Suka Suka for a second. Yeah.
Man, that's
hear
fucking. That's mean to Suka Suka.
Man,
bro.
how dare you do that?
Yeah. That's an insult to Suka Suka, yeah. I hear this supposed to be having a. Yeah, it is quite optimistic, yes, or light tone. But yeah, it is a combination of those two studios cooperating again. Not the first time that they've cooperated together. Pretty common association. From what I've seen of the staff, they're bringing in some people from other studios to. They obviously they brought in some other studios to help the process. They help, most notably DR Movie. They help with digital in between stuff, and you can see that pretty decently in the audio visuals as well. Pretty good blending overall in there. Although it's not like there's a huge bunch of action scenes and just fighting and stuff like that. The staff mainly looks like some Akitaya Noriaki and some of the producers brought in their JC staff connections, combined with some motley crew of veterans inside and outside of Studio Gokumi that the studio could find to animate the series. So it's not like some super power team that some production IG or whoever kind of brought together. It is a little bit more of general crew, but they are all veterans in the scene. They mainly again worked on series composition person. Again, Takahashi Tatsuya worked on stuff like Idolmaster, Netoyome, Domestic Nakanajo, some isekai stuff, helped with Kim Moza. There are some other veterans, director of photography, animation directors are also similar, again, in line with the Studio Gokumi specials. And obviously some subcontractors here and there as well. Again, all pretty much veterans with regards to character design, animation, and whatever they're working with. So yeah. By the way, before I stop and finish off the staff section, there are apparently staff roles for quote unquote vending machine design, which is pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie. So they actually got people to help with vending machine design, which is props to them. You know what I mean? But anyways, going over the voice actress list, pretty standard veterans A B kind of tier listers here. Fukuyama Jun as the main character, and Hakon or the vending machine, doing an excellent job as per usual, right? Fukuyama
Yeah,
Jun.
name one role of his.
Something of the rebellion, right?
No, Spire. The correct answer was Matsuno from Osamatsu-san.
That is also true, yes. But yeah, Fukuyama Jun doing an excellent job with Hakon, the main character. Hondo Kaede obviously also doing a very good job with Lamis as the
Oh
standard
yeah,
kind of
oh yeah,
main
Spire.
hero.
Name one recent role of hers. One good one.
I don't remember. I apologize.
This
I'm
guy.
so bad. I have bad. I've said this like a million times. I don't have the best memory.
This guy doesn't
Uh,
like Iono. How dare you? I'm talking
um.
about Iono, aka the Pokemon VTuber,
Oh yeah.
aka
I
Maple
don't.
from Bofuri. Come on,
Yeah,
Spire,
yeah.
keep up.
The Beaufort role, I remember. But anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, Fukuyama Jun, Hondo Kaede, obviously other veterans in current modern kind of A/B listers, and Kaino Ai, Yamashita Daiki, Enoki Junya, Tomita Miyu, Aoki Shiki, Eguchi Takuya. Again, very standard list, good list of veterans. OP fanfare by Bradio, who is a funk rock band. It sounds very classic, sort of J rock funk. Almost makes the anime kind of seem like it's from the early 2000s or 90s. I would say it's a pretty decent listen as an individual song, but when you hear that funk rock and you see the vending machine isekai animations overlaid on top of it, it kind of seems a tiny bit out of place with the anime as a whole. So I don't know how to feel about it overall within the context of the anime. But the overall song individually is fine to listen. The ending is just a very sort of major key upbeat theme, kind of kids children's show almost song ending called Itsumo no Soup by Peel the Apple. Again, very standard kind of AD kind of stuff. Nothing to write home about. Overall, the audio visuals I would say are slightly above average. It's pretty standard isekai stuff. I want to say the thing that puts it above average would be the good character designs, because usually when things get adapted from light novel or web novel or light novel stuff or manga to anime, they get diluted. The designs get pretty kind of muted because obviously they need to animate a bunch of stuff and they can't draw every scene in detail all the time. So stuff get diluted, but in here it wasn't really that diluted. The character designs were pretty good in the anime, and they kept up that consistent quality pretty well. However, I would do want to say that I think good character pretty seems pretty boxy to me. Yeah, the vending machine is hey man, they put in extra people for the vending machine design, so they put extra care on that too. But I want to say that this anime is pretty dependent on the storyboard and the direction, focusing on ways to make most of the scenes pretty static or with very, very minimal movement in frames outside of pretty repetitive, obvious things that they could have done just with like computer like editing animation, right? So this means that the cracks don't really show up when having to fully animate everything, right? And have to have a billion different artists for in between frames and so on. But this style in itself is done quite well again by the studio Gokumi and the team behind Akitaya, director Akitaya. And they are animated quite decently, and they stay quite consistent in quality. You don't see necessarily the character designs kind of just going by the wayside or just, you know, characters just turning into Studio Dean Fate level dolls or in the background or whatever. The blending stays consistent. I think that's again thanks to DR Movie and some of the other contractors who are helping with that, and so on. But yeah, it's the quality stays pretty consistent and stays pretty above average. So pretty solid there. What I will say, I guess the synopsis is pretty simple, right? Some guy gets killed. He's a vending machine otaku. He gets reincarnated into a high fantasy setting, right? High feudal high fantasy setting ish as a vending machine, as a sentient vending machine with RPG menus and powers, right? So if he sells items from his vending machine body, he gets points and he can use these points to gain powers like putting a barrier around himself or gaining extra vending machine capabilities or whatever it is, right? So then he gets found by this girl uh, named Lamis. Lamis is sort of a country hick, not the brightest girl, but she's very kind hearted and energetic and kind of go get him kind of attitude. Country hick, um, as evidenced by her Kyoto band, Kyoto Axe dialect, Kansai dialect. It's a Kyoto dialect because she says like uchi a lot and stuff like that. I don't know whether that was in the light novel slash web novel, but I believe it was. It's been quite a while since I've read Vending Machine, the original from Shosetsu Ninaro. So I apologize. But yeah, Lamis picks the vending machine up, goes back to her village, and then it's kind of a, I want to say slow life. The issue is like the slow life, the definition of slow life is a little bit harder because most people just kind of want to think of slow life as just the farming, just making food or whatever. There is a little bit more quote unquote adventuring slash action and and this series than most other slower isekai. I want to say there's a little bit more like fighting, but I want to say it's on par with something like Harem and the Labyrinth of Another World or any isekai that kind of has the main character go into dungeons and kill stuff every once in a while. So every once in a while they'll go into dungeons or they'll find monsters and they'll defeat it. But beyond that, there's not a lot of huge drama like, oh, the main character has to seek revenge. The main character has to defeat the demon king. The main character has to do this or that or the other thing. It's more just the main character interacting with the girl and the village and the characters the girl comes across. There are other girls who also take interest in the main character as a vending machine and the development of the vending machine and the growth, mainly the power fantasy. guess it's still a power fantasy, right? Of the vending machine becoming more powerful and being able to do different things with his various vending machine items, right? He gains the power of an omnidirectional sight. He gains other like power, defensive, offensive powers in battle for some reason, right? Like barriers or whatever. He gets the power to offer additional items, right? Like sanitary, hygienic items, or he gets to offer different food items, and that creates additional um story lines here and there in the main novel. So you're definitely a power fantasy if the protagonist is a vending machine and is roaming the world unplugged. Yeah. Um. So the anime itself is a pretty straightforward adaptation of this story. There's not even that much truncations. It's pretty much straight. Oh, the vending machine came. Now it's just doing episodic vending machine, isekai vending machine things, along with the girl and the other characters the vending machine meets. It's not that much of a big surprise to anybody else who's watched a soul or read a Soul Life Isekai series, except for the fact that obviously the theme is around vending machines, right? So that part isn't bad, but the important part, and this is part of why a lot of people are kind of put off with regards to Isekai stuff, right? Is that there's not really a proper harem slash rom-com part of the series, right? Obviously, the author includes in a lot of rom-com slash harem lines for the girls. And this is part of sort of what comes with a territory, with a subculture of this sort of shosetsu ni naru isekai stuff, right? The Regardless of what the theme is or what the protagonist is like, you're gonna have the author write a lot of these rom-com. Oh, how come you're uh how come you're you know selfishly hogging up all of the vending machines, whatever, blah blah blah, right? You'll have these like jealousy spats or cat fights, stuff like that over the vending machine. You'll have these like weird harem-ish lines. Um and again, that's part of the author not being able to help himself because these isekais are all written like that, but it's also part of just what attracts the readers of these isekai series, right?
I mean, I guess in some sense too, it's also like kind of could be, would you argue, like pretty self-aware in the sense of like, it's doing this very tongue-in-cheek because it's a fucking vending machine at the end of the day. Like,
Yeah, part of it's definitely ironic. It's definitely self-aware. But what I'll say is that a lot of times these lines, while they are ironic, I think the main reason, the brunt of why they're written in is kind of as cynical as it might sound, as much as I might have a bias against these writers, is to get the eyeballs. Is is sort of my take on it, because the people again who are reading these sorts of web novels, these isekai, power fantasy, high fantasy, main character comes in and he's the powerful skill user and cheat user of the Thunder Dragon Rising Heavens, right? With all the beautiful girls, they want to see the same shit over and over again. So I think the author really can't help themselves if they want to get the bookmarks. But again, that's just sort of my perspective on why these lines are written. But those lines are written, but the good thing is, again, with something like the Vending Machine Sky or the Sword Daddy Sky, I think these two series still kind of help define one of the modern landmarks in isekai anime, because the main character is explicitly forced away from the standard harem, save X girl from a tree, save Y girl from a tree, and mac on them and whatever stuff. And it's much more of a focus on the RPG leveling and sort of the slower life characteristics of these isekais, right? So I think that's important because again, that's one of the things that often drive away people like Nier or other people who are just like, yeah, all these isekais are the same. It's just the black haired Japanese isekai dude just macking on all the girls, right? So I think that's an important part of why this series is, and something like Sword Dad is so valuable, in my opinion. Um, I do think also that Fukuyama Jun, as well as sort of the direction in general, they do a very, very, very good job of infusing the anime and the lines with the enthusiasm and the comedy into the main character in a series where in the web novel and the light novel, as I said, it's a pretty slow paced series. So it's definitely much more kind of lax, oh, I'm watching the vending machine level up experience in the light novel. Whereas the anime kind of focuses here and there. Obviously, it still goes through the same episodes and arcs as the web novel and the light novel, but there are definitely more parts where it's focusing on the comedic aspects. And that's while that's also standard for an anime, I think Fukuyama Jun, as again well as the directions of the anime and the storyboarding, do a pretty good job of emphasizing that. And I do like that because it sets the anime apart. I'm not sure if I would now say that the anime adaptation is way better than the web novel original or light novel adaptation, but the anime does now stand out on its own way. It has its own value in watching because now, okay, I'm saying this anime shows this in a different aspect. It shows it in a different timbre and a different interpretation, and it's not just about promoting the web novel. It's not just about, oh, I get to see the web novel, but with colors and with frames. It's not just about that. It stands out on its own as an interpretive media, right? Medium. So I do appreciate the fact that that happened, and I do think that Fukuyama Jin really does carry that role pretty well in terms of being able to be on the comedy and being able to be like, I'm a vending machine otaku, reborn as a vending machine, and I get to do all these vending machine stuff. Wow. And he does that sort of act very well. So I do want to just point that out. Other than that, there's not too much to say. I think overall it's a pretty standard isekai soul life pacing, except for obviously the vending machine part. But I do think that this series and again the Sword Dance series hold a very important place in isekai for showing potential future blueprints for variants on how the isekai genre can evolve without just saying to the audience, okay, accept this, accept the black-haired Japanese isekai protagonist who just max on with the girls and tries to search for miso soup every time. Just I do think it's a good blueprint to follow, although obviously the more of it that gets produced, the more tedious it might become. But we'll see how it evolves. But I do think it is a good example to set. And I do like the series. I had read the series way before and I really liked it. And I'm really glad that it became an adaptation because, again, now I can just say, okay, you don't like the isekai, you don't like the Japanese kind of, oh, cheat skill. I get the sword magician thing and the Japanese sword magician cheat skiller kills all the baddies. You don't like that series? Okay, watch this. So I do think, it's a good series to have and in your back pocket. I hope he gets Pet Roomba. Maybe. But
Spire, you haven't answered the most important question.
no, what is it?
Would you die for a vending machine?
Would I die for a vending machine? You mean to become a vending
Would you
machine?
die to become a vending machine?
Would you, Spire? Because that's how the
No,
main
I would
character
not.
went, didn't he? He saw a
Yeah,
vending
yeah,
machine
yeah.
fall off a truck and he
Yeah, he
went to
wanted to
grab it.
save a vending machine, and then yeah, he became a vending machine or whatever. Yeah, I would
Yeah,
not.
like
I
a
would not
vending machine
sacrifice
fell off a
my.
truck and he went to save it, but he got
Yeah,
crushed by
yeah,
it. Also, by the way, don't do that.
yeah. By the way, don't save a vending machine and get killed
How
in the
much do vending
process.
machines weigh? They're like a
Oh, quite a bit.
like a
Yeah,
ton, right?
yeah, yeah. Not a ton, but it's like
No, no, they do not weigh.
yeah,
They do not weigh a
yeah,
ton.
400 to 900 pounds. Okay, so half a ton.
Damn,
yeah,
dude,
several hundred
900 pounds.
Yes.
What fucking vending machines out here weighing 900 pounds?
I don't know, maybe the pizza one.
Depends how it depends how
How
big
much
and how full it
machinery?
is.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, anyways, I would
Yeah,
definitely
Spire.
recommend. Yeah,
What's your favorite vending machine? What
my
vending machine would
favorite
you
vending
die
machine?
for? Yeah.
I don't think I have a favorite vending machine. I know that there's like YouTube channels of different vending machines putting out cool stuff, but I haven't actually been introduced to a lot of weird vending machines yet. I would like
Oh,
to, honestly, but I
so
haven't.
okay, so would you rather be a snack machine or a drink machine? I'd rather be a
Snack
snack
machine.
machine. Hell yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Snack machine.
What
Yeah.
about you guys?
Because
Snack machine for the variety.
How about you, Near?
Could be a slushy machine.
It's not a
Does
vending
that count as
machine,
drink?
dude.
it's not a vending machine?
Yeah, that is. Yeah, there is.
It's not
I guess that'd be a
automated.
drink.
Is a drink dispensing machine a vending machine? That's not a thing,
Yeah,
right? Like if you go to
yeah, it is.
7-Eleven and you're like, here are different like Fanta, Coke, whatever. That's not a vending machine, right?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah,
There's
no, that's a
there's like a
that's a
pizza
fountain,
machine.
brother. That is a fountain.
There's
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
a
pizza
that's a
machine's
fountain.
different though, because the pizza. See, I would call a vending machine. It's something that like you're getting the final product, right? Like the pizza vending machine literally just gives you the pizza boxed. Like that's it. It makes it and it gives it to you. A slushy machine isn't
are you
making the
guys
slushy.
are you guys forgetting about these? The Coke vending machines that are slushy machines?
But that's like a Japan thing, right? That's not like I'm thinking of America. Like if you go to a Chuck E. Cheese or something
Man,
like that.
see
right?
here
Or
another
if you go
slushy
to
machine. They exist.
what is that? I've never seen that in my life.
What the
What?
fuck?
They-
All the slushy machines, yeah, like icy machines are just regular. Just if you go to some sort of fast food restaurant
those
or
are
whatever.
actual vending machines though. What he's linking, like those are actual like slushy
Yeah.
vending machines.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I've
like
never
these
seen
are
that.
not usually. Yeah,
I've only ever seen
like
self-serve vending machine, like self-serve fountain type thing.
yeah. But yeah, well,
Because you wouldn't
if we're
call
gonna
like
go
an
this far,
ice
Yeah,
cream machine.
so
a
checkmate,
vending machine.
atheists.
yeah, man,
Checkmate.
he's got a point.
All
But
right,
he's got a
fine, but
point
you would
though.
be one
I
of
would
these.
I
You
would
wouldn't be
be
the 7-Eleven
I'd be an
slushy
ice
machine.
cream machine.
yeah.
No,
I'd
that-
sell frozen ice cream vending
Okay, so
machine.
you'd be like an ice cream vending machine. I
Soft
was gonna
serve?
say, if you're
Uh,
telling me if you're
no.
talking about a fucking soft serve, then we're back to square one.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I
No,
agree.
there's the
Yeah, there's
There's the
machines
machines
that sell like the pops and stuff, right? And the drumsticks.
Yeah. Yeah.
there's ones that do the soft serve for you too.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I
Yeah.
guess, I
Yeah.
guess that would make sense.
I want to be that one. I don't know whether it's just Japan or not, but the pizza making machine.
You're not even Italian, Spire. How dare you?
I think at the time that the pizza vending the
Oh,
pizza
no.
vending machine was made, it's already like the Italians were already dying. I think it was already over.
Oh, dude,
But,
no one chose two things. No one chose, well, a couple. No one chose the car vending machine.
Oh yeah.
No one chose the
Dude, what is that?
the car vending machine is car keys. You buy the car out of a vending
What?
machine. You get the keys. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the car vending machine.
Isn't there also in Japan
there's a
that
there's a
what is
frozen
it?
crab. There's a live crab vending machine with frozen crabs.
There's that one infamous vending machine in Japan, right, where it's like you get the used clothes or whatever. Isn't
Yeah, there's
that
the
like a vending
panties
machine?
vending machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, none of us said
Dude,
that. So really, we're
Yeah, really. Are we really living our lives?
really
Yeah.
living. Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, that was pretty much all I had to say.
What's your mouse
Again,
score?
my mouse score? Huh. That's an interesting question. Because it's like, I like it, but it's hard for me to be like, wow, this is going to be awesome. You know, it's going to be some Chainsaw Man shit. It's going to be some Oshinoko stuff. I can't say that, right? That's not me being honest. So, but it's still like above average and it defines the issue is in rating this, it defines something, right? It within the genre. And you can't say that about a lot of series too. So that means I think that has some value for me. I would say probably a 6 or a 6.5 out of 10, maybe. That's what I would say. It's hard for an isekai like this to fully that's like all structured in this very standard kind of RPG, Soul Life, whatever. It's hard for that to escape the bounds of like anywhere from like a 3 to 6 ish for me on the scale. But the reason why it's getting like that potential half point, because again, the vending machine aspect and how it's kind of marking its own place within the genre, in my opinion. So there will eventually be an adaptation of a used panty machine isekai Shibapassione. Yeah. It's gonna be a combination of this series plus the Dogeza with the panty series. It's gonna be a combination of those. It's just gonna fuse like polymerization. But yeah, that's all I had to say about vending machine isekai. Again, also known as Reborn as a vending machine. I now wander the dungeon. This Jidouhanbaiki ni Umarekawatta ore wa Meikyuu ni Samayou. So this is again originally web novel, and now it's being made. It has been made into an adaptation by Studio Gokumi and Access co-production, and pretty common collaboration. And if you don't like the usual isekai stuff, but you want to potentially give isekai series a general chance, please do check it out. Now we go on to the news. So not too much in the past 2 weeks. I think there's not been too much ruckus, so most of it's smaller stuff here. First, just some stuff on Hayao Miyazaki's newest work, right? Newest released work, which is How Do You Live, right? Also known as The Boy and the Heron, I think is the English localized title, right? So
Yeah.
first he went with the whole before it released. They mentioned that the theater pamphlets for the feature film will not be sold on opening day and will instead go on a sale at a later date at theaters. And there's I don't know whether Miyazaki or whoever's related to this is trying to run this weird like social media viral campaign and by being all surly and being like, no, we're not going to promote any of this shit. Fuck you guys, kind of thing, right? I don't know whether it's some sort of weird like inverse viral campaign, but they've been very like, we're not going to sell anything. Fuck you guys, which is very like weird usually, right?
Yeah.
Despite that, because it's Miyazaki, right? It did top the Japanese box office in its opening weekend. Sold uh 1 million over 1 million tickets. Earned around 13 million US dollars in his first 3 days in Japan. Earned more than Miyazaki's celebrated Academy Award winning 2001 film Spirited Away in its first 4 days, and earned 50% more than his 2013 film The Wind Rises. And again, this is just in the first couple of days, right? So obviously, a big part of this is that simply that the anime industry, especially the anime movie industry, is um, becoming bigger, right? Especially after stuff like Demon Slayer, or especially after stuff like Kimi no Na, right? A bunch of other movies. So it's becoming bigger. But obviously, Miyazaki film, the newest one in the long run. So it's regardless of how the movie is, a Miyazaki movies at this point, the brand name is too big. It's just gonna sell. So, um, oh yeah, FLCL. I remember that. On the news. Next piece of news here. News website The Verge reported last week that a former employee of game developer Niantic, I think Niantic is most related to the Pokemon company. Yeah, Pokemon Go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Has filed a lawsuit against the company, alleging that the company is paying its female employees less than its male employees in equivalent or lower positions, and creating a quote unquote systemic sexual bias against female employees and women of color. Classic stuff at these sorts of companies.
I thought that was normal. I thought you were just allowed to do that.
Yeah. Have just like OG Simpson room or whatever. What was it? Riot or Blizzard that had that? It was Blizzard, right, or whatever it was.
Not the
It's
OJ
like,
Simpson room. It was the Cosby suite.
Oh, it was a Cosby suite. Excuse me.
Which
Fucking-
also I'm pretty sure predates the Bill Cosby stuff, so it was just a fine bit of irony
yeah, exactly.
that it matched up so well.
Yeah. These companies. Next
No, if
piece
it
of
was the
news.
OJ suite, that would be a little that would even be
Yeah,
even
that would be-
worse,
you
actually.
just bring the people in there and kill them.
Yeah, exactly.
and
Hide
get
the
away with it.
gloves, friends.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Hide the gloves. Yeah. Um. Next, Adult Swim announced on Thursday. This is the biggest thing I think these past 2 weeks. Adult Swim announced on Thursday that it is producing a new original anime titled Lazaro in Japanese, for Toonami with Watanabe Shinichiro. If you don't know this name, you fucking should, because he is one of the main people behind Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo, and more recently, obviously, Space Dandy. And Anime Studio
Never heard of
Mappa.
it.
If you don't know this name, you should. I'm not gonna tell you what works they've done. You should know. You should fucking know. Yeah. Watanabe is directing every episode. He's not ditching like some, Gen Urobuchi people that we know of, right? Stahelski, Chad Stahelski, who is John Wick stuntsman director, is designing the action sequences for the science fiction action anime. The anime will feature a score by Jack saxophonist Kamasi Washington and producers, DJs, musicians, Floating Points, and Bonobo. Sola Entertainment is producing. So, yeah, it's a lot of money. A lot of money being poured into on the hands of Watanabe. Obviously, not a name that you take for granted. Um, and Mappa, right? So I'm hoping, just like everyone else is hoping, that this is gonna turn out well. But we've had a lot of
Yeah, how many projects have we had where it's like
East-West collaborations, right?
I mean, not even East-West collaborations necessarily, but it's just like there's just
A lot
so
of
much
names.
talent. Yeah, there's just so much
Too much,
talent and
yeah.
like
Too
big
many
names,
cooks. Too many cooks.
and it's just like wow, like you hear all these like
I don't even know
big
if it's too
names,
many
and you're like,
cooks.
Well, what do
I
you
think it's
think?
just
is the
a
Not
problem?
bunch
always.
of, I think it's just a bunch of names that just do not have a vision that
Don't
comes
deliver?
together. Like
Yeah,
it's
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
deliver.
it's
it
like
could
yeah,
just
like you
be
have a
that
bunch of sick people like that
the
do a bunch of
the
cool shit, but
the project
they
that they're
don't
working
jive.
on is just not great, you know.
Yeah,
But
Yeah,
yeah,
like
it's like we've had so many of these projects just turn out like mediocre or
Mhm.
you know just
I think the
not.
most infamous one is probably Chaos Dragon, right?
Of course,
Yeah.
but it's like, you know, I don't know. It's when you like when you kind of I guess because obviously the fucking marketing for this is literally gonna be like
Shinichiro Watanabe and
yeah,
Mappa.
Shinichiro Watanabe,
And
like
John Wick guy. Yeah,
the guy
and John Wick
behind
guy.
fucking Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo. It's like, how do you live up to that?
Yeah, the curse of expectations
Yeah,
again.
you
With
don't.
Mappa, with a
Right.
John Wick stuntsman, and it's just
Yeah,
up the
it's
book.
like when you hear that, it's like, oh, so this has to be at least as good as Cowboy Bebop, right? But
Oh god.
obviously
Oh,
that's not going to happen,
or
right?
the biggest thing, the problem is also, how do I say this? The producers, or not the production committee, the people who are actually funding this, right? The old men, the old white dudes who are funding this, are going to be expecting the sun, the moon, the universe, and the universe next
Oh yeah.
door, right? On this. They've heard, they don't know Watanabe, right? Let's be honest, they don't know who Watanabe is. They don't even fucking know who Mappa is, I think. But they know that they've made something called this Bebop Cowboy or whatever, right? That got
It
a
made a
bunch
lot
of
of money.
numbers. Yeah, it made a lot of money, and they are expecting it to do similar numbers. Cowboy Bebop, I'm gonna be honest. Obviously Watanabe is a great director, right? But Cowboy Bebop itself is lightning in a bottle. You can't catch it twice. It's hard. It was a product of both the times. It was a product of Watanabe's genius, obviously. um expecting something like this
I'm
in
also
2020.
I'm also gonna have like a really hot take here. I think Cowboy Bebop is carried immensely hard by its aesthetic. Like,
No, yeah, that
How
too.
is that a
Yeah.
hot take?
That's the first thing that everybody kind of
cause
mentions though.
cause you
Fair.
can't you literally can't criticize Cowboy Bebop's like fucking story or pacing without people fucking crucifying you. Like like Cowboy Bebop, if you take
But near.
the sci-fi western from Cowboy Bebop, it's not it's not that
Near, you
great,
can
right?
now though, because
Mhm.
there's the Netflix version.
Yeah, I mean it's yeah, but that also has just bad writing, just straight up. Like just actually bad writing. Like Bebop's issues are in its pacing. You know what I mean? Like the fact that it goes from an entirely episodic series to a very focused like character story
Yeah.
in the span of like half an episode, like maybe 60% of the way, maybe 70% of the way through this series, right? Um, if you take the badass, uh, sci-fi western away from Cowboy Bebop, it's a pretty mediocre story, right? But we'll see. We'll see how this new thing goes
Yeah.
out. I mean, if they can just rule of cool it again, then by all
If they can
means.
capture lightning in the, and
But
also we have to remember that, how do I say this? Regardless of how many, and I don't want to be offensive here, but I kind of do. Regardless of how many neckbeards on Twitter keep shouting like, "Oh, we want the old cool thing flying around," blah 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 blah. Again, it is 2023. We've had a lot of these things flying around, and I'm gonna be honest. I think even if you get something that's exactly something like a Cowboy Bebop or whatever in its style, maybe even in a circle structure or whatever, you are not going to get the same sort of wow factor that you did when you first saw something like a Samurai Champloo or Cowboy Bebop, in my opinion. Just because, again, we've had the experience, right? And we've had all these other variants and we've had all these other stories kind of told to us. So I think it'll be very, very difficult to create something bigger than just kind of a fun, small flick. And I say small in terms of like story structure, right? Not in terms of money. It's obviously very big. But I think it'll be hard to create something beyond like a small fast food style fling unless the direction and the writing is just so out of this world and just very, very like unlike what we've seen. You know what I mean? Hard. It's hard. It's hard to capture lighting, and that's why these people get paid to do it. But it's also, you know, it's easier said than done. It's much easier um to just be like, yeah, just hire the dude that made the Cowboy Bebop than to have him make another Cowboy
yeah,
Bebop. Yeah.
hey man, just make another Fate.
Yeah, just bro, just fucking Klana and just do
Yep,
it, bro.
just do it
Like,
again, bro.
yeah. Yeah, unfortunate.
It's so easy, Near. It's called no, they already make a new fate. It's called Mahotsukai no Yoru.
Mm.
Yeah, new. But yeah. Anyways, last piece of news. It's not really like news again. I don't like doing these announcements, but um, of like anime adaptations or whatever. But I just found this one funny. TV Asahi announced a new original television anime project on Saturday titled R Rainy Protocol or Bokura no Ameiru Protocol. So this anime, the reason why I mention it is because the youth drama centers on the world of esports. Tokinoya Shun is a second
Hey.
year high school student who started working at the esports cafe Fox One after his father's accidental death. However, it comes to light that Fox One is in a considerable amount of debt. In order to repay the debt, Shun and his friends enter the Zaxxerian, I think that's how it's pronounced, Zaxxerian Championship Tournament to win the tournament's prize money. So
This is a Disney movie plot.
yeah, and also I just want to say, again, this might be my hot take coming from me, but just as a person who has watched and been involved in competitive stuff, competitive video game stuff for a while, Japanese people really like this idea of esports, but for some reason they haven't really built it up yet. And I think this is a very interesting way to go about it by making anime about esports before they have any proper esports infrastructure beyond, streamers playing Apex and Valorant. Except they couldn't even get their own team to Valorant Masters. So, anyways, that was the last piece of news. And we are going to finish up with our shoutouts and call outs. Everybody here gets one shout out and one call out. Each shout out is something that you want to praise, 5 out of 5 stars on Yelp, talk well about it, and can be any one person, place, or thing. And call outs is, of course, the exact opposite, 1 out of 10, something that you want to rant about, rage to the heavens, and it can be any one person, place, or thing. And we start now with Near. Shout out and call out. Please.
Shoutouts to yeah, fuck it. Shoutouts to the Godzilla -1 teaser that released about a week ago. Pretty hyped to see post-war era Godzilla again. Very heavy topic. Hopefully they can do it justice. As for callouts, I mean, I don't know. There's been some wild shit happening. I think I gotta give it to the the FLCL Grunge trailer that came out like fucking 3 hours ago or something. I don't even know. I don't know when this came out, but I saw it like 3 hours ago. It gave me fucking. It's so upsetting. If you haven't seen it, it's completely CG. And apparently it's done by some studio that's like literally never done anything. It looks like dog shit. And it's like just stop milking Fooly Cooly, man. Just give it up. Like the fucking the 2 extra seasons you guys did not do well. They
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
did not.
How old is
They
the
were
main
not
character now?
received well.
How old is what?
How old is it the same dude? Naoto, right?
No, it's not.
Oh, then who cares?
It's a new make.
Is the TV guy still
The
there?
only, I think so. The only
Oh,
like
okay.
recurring character that they keep bringing back is Haruka, but it's like
That's
whatever.
cool and all, but where's the TV guy?
It's, like, it's just so upsetting. Like the only fucking, I don't even know if it's a silver lining at this point. Like I don't even know. It's like, because like it's so like stagnant. It's so stale. Because every time they do it, they're like, "Oh, it's fully cooly. Hey guys, remember Haruka? Remember the pillows? Wow, wow! Please watch." And that's like literally the whole show. That's all of it. That's like all
the
they
issue.
managed to fucking come up with creatively. It's so fucking
The issue I have
stale. Like
with Fully Cooley, right? Or not Fully Cooley, but sort of the, how do I say this? The continuations, right? Progressives,
milking.
whatever. Yeah, is that Fully Cooley is a very standalone series, and I don't mean just like how the story is structured, because it's not really much of a story at the end of the day, right? It's more just like Fully Cooley
I
is
mean, it's a
more just like
metaphor.
about, yeah, it's and more of the value of Fully Cooley is generally about the setting and just the general sort of visuals, right, of the
Yeah.
series. And the subsequent seasons of Fulikuli really tried to continue the plot in order to resuscitate Fulikuli, but that's not really the point of the series, right? I think an interesting way would have been to do a similar thing where it's just like the evolution from say Cowboy Bebop to like Space Dandy or whatever, right? That would have
Yeah.
been an interesting evolution to have tried, and it would have been more sensible rather than doing
Yeah, but they
whatever
don't want to
these.
bring the talent back. So
Yeah.
instead they'll just license some fucking studio that nobody's heard of.
I'd be like, "Fully goalie,
Fucking
guys!"
fucking whip the pillows in the back and make a new song,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
and then they have a new product that they can
Yeah,
just shit out.
exactly.
It's like
Very unfortunate.
just give it up, please.
The Eternal
Like
Curse. It's
I
like
don't
this,
know.
and then also like the Death Note, the Eternal White Whale, the other White Whale is Death Note. Just
Yeah.
stop. No more Death Note live actions. No more whatever.
Don't worry,
Stop
bro.
it.
Soon we have One Piece. So
Ah.
yeah.
God damn it.
What, Spy? You don't like One Piece?
I don't. That's not what I said. I think. But anyways, you already did your shout out, right? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So next, I'll go shout out to There's shout out to a couple of like the VTubers, Korean VTubers I've been watching and stuff like that. Just good comedic content. I've been enjoying it. I've been trying to slowly kind of dip my toes back into VTuber watching.
Oh yeah,
Without
name your
getting
favorite VTuber.
Why?
right now, my favorite VTuber is like that I've been watching consistently is this like pink hair VTuber called like Anke. But that's like because she does a very tight like constant back and forth of this like R18, R19 like joke material
Wow, you
back
pervert.
with the viewers. But the viewers are also very like honed in on the joke, and they just like boom, just throw comedic lines at her too. So it's like constant back and forth of like her saying some random whack like lewd joke shit, and then the viewers just like donating like random like donation lines to her, just being like, "Hey, shut the fuck up," or like some other like kind of scummy kind of style lines, and it's very fun. So really, you love VTubers? Name 20 of them. Literally toast. Um,
Just name everyone
so
from Hololive, Spy. It's easy.
yeah.
You can go by gens.
Can't. So that's my shout out. My call out is to the recent corporations and certain, people running corporations being stupid. Some examples are obviously Twitter limiting everything for anybody except for the people who have blue check
So the
marks
people who
apparently.
pay, baby.
Yeah, it's like you can only have view X number of tweets, or you can only send the number of DMs, or you can only all this and that. I'm just glad. Again, I said
Dude,
this in Discord.
Twitter will become profitable tomorrow. It will.
Yeah.
Trust.
I I said this in Discord a couple of days ago, but I'm just glad that I'm only going to be living and dying in a time period where I only have to worry about corporations limiting mostly have to worry about corporations just limiting my daily limit for DMs. I don't want to be ever reincarnated later in the future where it's like, yeah, CEO and Grandmeister Elon Musk the third Jr. or Junior the third has decreed that you have now a daily limit on your oxygen intake. It's like, God, I
Yep.
can't with
You
these
only
corporations.
get 2 cans of air a day, buddy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unless
Well, where
you
you're
pay.
wrong,
Yeah, yeah.
where you're wrong is that that's not gonna happen because our gracious leader Xi Jinping is going to stop that. Okay.
Jesus.
The top G
Yeah,
is here to end it.
yeah, top sheet. And the other, what was it? The other the news that like that Ubisoft news of the He's the guy in the world where he only gets 30 DMs a day. God damn it. The Ubisoft news, right? Where the Ubisoft game thing, they were just like randomly shutting down game accounts, like stuff like that. Just stop it. Just
What's
stop it,
the
guys.
has the time been figured out?
So yeah, so I was looking into that. Apparently it's like
Do you have
30
to
days?
request it or like?
apparently it's up to so it's like it's 2 years, right, of
That's
inactivity, and then
that's
it's up to like Ubisoft's discretion as to whether they flag the account or not. And from what I
Okay.
understand, they'll only flag your account if it looks like you're literally never coming back. Like I don't know
Okay, okay.
I don't know
I don't know
how
what's
they
how.
come to
Yeah,
that
that's like
decision.
that's
Um
weird. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know what sort of fucking data they collect. But I'm not too sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's something like 2 years minimum, and then they send you an email, and then if you don't respond to the email within 30 days, they can yoink your account.
Okay.
Um,
At least that's
it's
better. Like
it's a little bit more like of a niche edge case than some people are reporting it to be. But it's still bad. Like it's still not good, right? Um, but yeah.
yeah. I'm just
Yeah, sounds very much like milking. I mean, it sounds very in lieu of like, again, like Twitter DMs being limited, where it's like, bro, you're not about to make money from this. Like,
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm not, I forget like
you're really squeezing now to try and
yeah,
like
there was
save costs.
there was some weird like legal jargon in it where it's like I don't really understand the purpose behind a move like this, but okay.
But yeah, that's my shout out call out. What about you, Dark? Shout out call out.
I think I am going to shout out I'll shout out World of Warcraft because it's been very fun. It's been a very long time before I could have like considered WoW to be in a place where it's like if someone who hasn't played it was like, "Oh, I'd like to get into that. Would it be worth it?" And I would say, "Yeah." And I would say it currently is. So hopefully they can keep that up. A lot of really good stuff, and I think I don't know. I wouldn't have foreseen myself saying like, you know, FF14 needs to fucking pick up the pace for me, in my opinion. Not that they probably will, but you know. But
Okay,
yeah.
what about your call out?
There's a lot I could call out.
Yes, sir.
Fuck, dude. You know what?
Gotta pick one.
Yeah, sure. Let's get political, you know?
God damn it.
If
Keep
you're a
it short,
fucking
friend.
if you're a
Yeah.
fucking Japanese artist, how about you shut the fuck up and just tweet your art? How about that? That sounds like a good idea. How about instead of tweeting out like anti-trans and LGBTQ fucking talking points that are 10 years old in the US, like how women are unsafe because of trans people using women's bathrooms. How about we don't do that? How about we just tweet our art and we fucking move on then? Because yeah, as with everything, Japan is fucking 10 years behind, even with this, and it's like fucking insane to see people like, oh dude, but like what if a trans person like decides to assault a woman in a bathroom? Like, yeah, that's called a crime, and judging from the reports that we read on a bi-weekly basis sometimes, seems like you're, you know, more of a threat to just be assaulted in general by, I don't know, maybe a cis male mangaka, maybe one that wrote a popular series that's even airing
Yeah,
right now
or in the
as an
alleyways. Yeah, in the alleyways.
anime.
Yeah, exactly.
That
This
seems a
classic
bit more
incident, yeah.
likely at this point. So, you know,
Very unfortunate. I,
just
th- I
to
think it's gonna. I think the major. I don't know whether I would say I'm afraid of it. I don't think I'm afraid of it necessarily, but it's like the clash is going to be more interesting as the anime industry becomes more and more globalized and starts facing more towards global audiences. Because again, as Masayoshi mentioned, anime and manga and light novels and web novels are still much a very Japanese bred, Japanese culture inspired, Japanese culture ingrained um forms of medium. And this includes everything from what they had, before to what they are thinking about now, right? And that's going to definitely come them that those media uh, and the creators themselves are all gonna kind of come into contact with global sensibilities at large, and a lot of the more conservative mindsets are not necessarily going to pan out in a great way. They're kind of shouting about it on social media as well.
it's just like,
It'll
look,
be
man, again, 10 years behind. The US literally went through this, okay? If I have to be privy of every fucking nation, especially Japan's like gun laws and how that impacts them, how about you be a little, in touch with our laws and how that's done literally nothing?
Yeah,
It's
it's
crazy.
a little bit unfortunate.
But
But
ultimately,
anyways,
the lesson is, listen, if you're a Twitter artist, how about you just tweet your fucking art? Because I'm also not here
yeah,
to see your
that too.
personal tweets anyway.
That too.
Political or non-political, to
Especially
be honest with you.
and
But
also and
especially
also
political.
now you have an extra point. You have an extra point where it's like now if tweet like that random political shit, that's taking up my tweet quota, and I don't want to see that shit.
Yeah, I mean,
I
there's
just want to
that
see the
too.
art.
Yeah, it's like that's the
Yeah.
last thing I want taking up my fucking
Yeah.
daily, my daily regimen, my daily
Yeah.
rations.
Yeah, your daily Elon Musk handed gracious tweets. I think he mines the tweets individually by hand. But anyways, thank you, Dark. Last but not least, Toast. Shout out, call it, please.
Nice shout out. I'm gonna shout out Temple. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I've been reading the manga. It's like
Nice.
after I talk about it, it's pretty good. Pretty, pretty good. Yeah, pretty good.
Call out.
I call out. My call out is the sociopaths and serial killers.
Damn, bold stance.
I
Yeah,
personally do not like people that kill other people.
you know what? You know what's the worst? When you're
But
playing Pikmin and you let your Pikmin drown on purpose. That's just horrible, man.
yeah.
Even if it's an accident, you know what? Even if it's an accident, you're a sociopath. It's like that. It's so. Wait, no. Drowning is fine because it's an accident. Okay. Whatever. Pikmin die in battle. They served a noble cause. Okay. But leaving Pikmin behind at the end of the day, even if there's one at the edge of the map, that's the worst. That's the worst.
Who
How
are, who are
dare
you
you?
calling out here?
You know who you
Yeah.
are. VTubers that are streaming Pikmin right now.
Uh-huh.
I'll give a Sakura Miko a pass though, because she's an idiot. She's probably not doing it on purpose.
Yeah, I
But you
think I
know who
think
you are.
Sakura Mika is just naturally
You guys been watching
design.
her Pikmin streams? I think every stream ended with genocide. It was horrible, but also funny. So I'll forgive her.
All right. Anyways, thank you, Toast, for
Wait,
your shout out call. Yep.
is Pikmin 4 out already? It should be, right?
Yeah, I think we.
July
I
21.
think
Hell
it is.
yeah.
I think
Okay,
it
good.
is, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, again, thank you, Toast, for your shout out call out. And with that, we are done with episode 227 of 4Play Animecast again. Next will be on the 5th, right? I think 5th of August. So that'll be time. And yeah, we'll just be bringing more stuff. I know, again, since there are more episodes that are going to be released, we're going to be halfway into the season by next episode. We'll be able to cover a lot more of the bigger brand names coming out. So watch out for that. And as always, if you like what we do, you can check us out at twitch.tv/4PlayerAnimecast, where we record our podcast, talk about the latest and greatest in Japanese animation media, anime, manga, light novels, web novels, visual novels, and so much more. So check us out here on our live recording podcast every other Saturday, starting from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We record our podcast here, clip highlights, and general clip sections of individual anime reviews. Also available on YouTube, whichever format you desire. So check that out as well. Check us on our social media for more updates and information on Facebook, 4Play Animecast, as well as on Twitter, handle at 4PPAnimecast. So check us out here, check us out there. And as always, we'll see you next time.